Hello, good day.
Good day. Good day, everyone. How's everyone? That's great. That's great that everyone's doing great.
I guess we should start with some business that's going on.
Yes?
Business is afoot.
We're doing business now?
Business is afoot. Uh, Tomorrow at 11 p.m., the new shirts go on sale.
Oh, lit.
Did I say p.m.? I meant a.m.
Yeah, that's a weird time for shirts. You don't
So
need to get dressed in the evening.
11 at 11, you can get the new shirts.
In some time zone, somewhere.
Yeah, Castle Superbugs as the as it goes, and here's a little preview of it.
For the audio listeners at home, Wooly
That's
is
correct.
wearing a shirt. It's a
the
good shirt.
It's the
A
Hollow
shirt
Knight.
you should buy.
Yeah. So that is coming out. There's also hoodies and phone cases available. I'm to understand, so you can do that. More to retweet about it once it's actually up and available and stuff. But
That's some good business.
yeah, that's going on the 11th, and then the Wednesday.
No indirect forms of taxation on that shit.
On the Wednesday, we're going to be appearing on the Death Battle cast.
Is that this Wednesday or next Wednesday?
I believe it's this Wednesday.
Okay.
And we're going to be appearing to discuss probably the most one-sided non-battle battle in the history of Death Battle.
But I like both of those characters.
Yes, they're fun to talk about.
So finally, we can have a death battle that everyone can agree on.
So it'll be BT versus Jehuti. And we can talk about what we like about them and how completely unfair and unrealistic and nonsense the actual matchup is when it comes to just sheer stats.
I think Jehuti is actually made out of magic space rocks. But on the other hand, I want to kiss BT on the mouth.
This is true. You'd get a thumbs up while doing it.
Yeah.
But more to discuss. We'll figure that out when we actually get to it. But yeah, to answer everyone's immediate question marks. No, we know. There's no pretending. There's no we don't know. We definitely know.
It's extra silly because like there's a BT equivalent in the Zone of the Ender series.
Yeah, the Levs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You pretty much, yeah. So
yeah,
we'll I guess again we'll get into all of that. So that's business happening.
What time is that?
Wednesday at 11:30 a.m.
Oh, I can do that. Okay, cool. Because I forgot it was this week, and I built my whole schedule with that. I thought it was next week. Oops.
Yeah, well,
that's cool. Yeah.
Well, you done fucked up.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's
okay.
Good. I got this.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing.
And then there's RTX things later on, but
well, that's a little farther out.
It is a little further out. But yes.
Yeah.
Thanks and credits to Tenacious Z for her incredible work on the Castle Superbugs t-shirt and hoodie. Yeah, again, we'll get a proper tweet out there so you guys can see what we're talking about once that's available. Cool. That's a happening. There's other important developments occurring.
Tell me one.
Well,
tell me at least one.
So, November 13th, 2019 is a very important date in Canadian history. November 13th, 2019 was the last day that a baby in Canada has been named Karen. There has not been a single baby named Karen since November 13th, 2019.
We did it, guys.
It used to be the 39th most popular name for babies, and it is now 0.
I'll tell you what, though, there are like Karen got a lot of groundswell, right? But that's a 40 years too late Karen. Like every Karen that I've ever met that was like a psycho was above 40, right? But like I've known people, like there are certain names that are like cursed, like you meet them and like no one you've ever met with this name is like a good person.
Sure. But as a collective nation, nightmare slain. The name Karen has been utterly and completely defeated. And if anyone had a grandma named Karen, then too bad, I guess. But they'll
get there soon.
Not a single person. A name has been completely annihilated. The history of names is always a weird one because usually, movies and shows and books tend to create eruptions in what are otherwise predictable patterns. Mm-hmm. But that is a fucking tactical nuke on a name that was once on the list.
Has like rapidly increased the turnover rate on names.
Yeah, the little GIF that shows you how they all move from year to year. Like Daenerys is gonna have a half year period before it gets overturned completely. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that say your parents named you Daenerys or Dany, after Daenerys in season 1. That or Khaleesi even, right?
Yeah, that Dany you can hide.
You get to be old enough to understand your parents' disappointment with the final season by the time it rolls around. Because you'll be like, what, 8 years old?
You'll be starting to be a person. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get to feel, my parents made a fucking mistake.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, at some point, shortly after, you get to choose whether you have a pet name, to mask it, or whether you just go to the office and get her done.
Yeah. But, or you go by your middle name, which is like a regular name. It's like your grandma's name or something.
Yeah. There's always
like Gretchen. That's weird. I've never met a Gretchen before.
There's opt-outs. There's ways you can opt out for sure.
You can you just go by Dany. That's what I assume most of those people are going to go and do and fix that. Is Dany? That's a name that people have. That's not some fucking embarrassing nerd name.
But that's Canadian history right there, man. That's proud of that one. That's good. Let's see if we can get
I think any
America on board.
I think any young boy that their name starts with a consonant and then the syllable A and then anything after that other than Jason is fucking doomed. Like Traden or all those
Brayden.
Fucking creepy goddamn soccer moms. Jadens are horrible. They need to go away.
Caden, Dayton. You can just go down the alphabet, I suppose.
Oh, it's a whole thing. Jaden just jumps out at me as like, you just mashed together some bullshit.
And what about Pat?
That's okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's fine.
You got an A up early after a consonant.
I mean, I like, Patrick's the full deal, but like, only my mom calls me Patrick. I feel bad for her though, because my mom doesn't like the nickname Pat. She actively dislikes it. And when they were picking my name out, they were going through my brother's hockey cards because they couldn't think of any names, so they're going through hockey players, and eventually they lands on Patrick Roy, and then they're like, what about Patrick? And my mom's like, well, I like Patrick, but I really don't like Pat. And my dad was like, don't worry, no one will call him Pat, I promise. Fast forward a couple decades, and my mom is punked to this day.
Yeah, what was the... there was a whole thing on... There's a whole thread on subreddit about the Aiden variant names and how, like...
Oh, yeah.
And the local and the places you can trace them to and all that shit.
Oh, it's nightmarish.
It's the kind of name you're gonna hear yelled out in a grocery store somewhere.
Oh,
yeah. You know, yeah.
And let me ask you a question, Willie. Did you ever talk to your folks and go down the nightmare path of your alternate names before the final was chosen?
No, I told the story. There was no path. There were no alternates. It was real simple. This is probably worth, I guess, repeating since it's been years now, but it was supposed to be Darlington, and then everyone in the family had already gotten used to that concept and was warming up to it. And then my father walked into the fucking room with a finger raised in the air and said his name shall be Wooly Jr. And then everyone kind of went, ugh. And then that was that. Because there needs to be two of you.
Well, I'll that's a great story. But I'll give everyone some nightmare fuel because it fucks me up about the alternate path I could have had in my life. The name before that, the front runner right before Patrick was chosen was Luke. So that could have happened.
Ooh.
Yeah! See what I mean? You see what I fucking mean?
Ooh.
Just...
Ooh, that's slimy. That's no good.
And like you go back and like you think about like life, and I'm just like, man, and my whole trajectory could have been dramatically different.
Ew. Fuck. Oh god, fucking New Testament, man. Just
wasps. What do you like?
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. No, that's no good. That's no good. Was it gonna be like the full, like Lucas, or was it just abbreviated right away? Yeah.
And on the other side, I got to dodge the curse that my siblings and my cousins all got, which is that I'm not Jean Patrick.
Yeah.
I got to dodge that shit. Because my dad and my brother and my sister and my aunts and uncles and grandparents and cousins are all Jean or Marie, the rest of it.
Yeah, but Luke isn't necessarily Luke. It's Jean-Luc energy. That's the energy that you really dodged. It's not the same as Luke in an English way.
In hindsight, I would have totally gone by Jean-Luc instead of Luke in that scenario. And I would have become an even more insufferable Star Trek dweeb.
And you would have been a JL.
Yeah. I don't like JL as much as JP. Or JF.
JF is all over.
Is the core.
Yeah, JF is everyone. JF is super common here. But JL every once in a while, and yeah, damn. No, bullet dodged. There you go.
I could have gone JP. That would work.
See, I had no chance at normal. You know,
yeah.
I had zero. And I mean,
is Wooly even a common name in Grenada?
No, it's not Grenadian. No, and my dad's not.
Jamaican?
No, no, it's not. It's just a weird fucking name. It's just a weird
Okay,
name.
it's like it's not a common name anywhere.
No, not at all. It has nothing to do with any of that shit. You know, it just fucking, that's and again, I had no chance at anything normal, but like I was hoping for at least a fucking combo, because I've said it before, but my brother ended up with Nwamiko, which is African prince.
That's all right.
And quite unique, sounds good.
It can be easily subset into like 4 or 5 different nicknames.
Yeah, no, it works out. He got himself it's smooth. And right into a very smooth middle name as well. Like, all in all, like, just really got him. Really got the luck of the draw on that. And then they kind of dropped the combo immediately on me, but here we are. It's unique. You're not going to mistake it. I'll tell you that much, at the very least. But, yeah, it was that or Darlington, so.
Is that a common name?
No, but it is a name. It exists. It is a, in fact, it's a couple of things. It's a place. It's a street. It's
okay.
It's more common than Wooly is by a hair. But yeah, that's also going into a weird like one of them sounds overly formal and the other sounds overly casual.
Yeah.
So
I feel like your name's a little off, like it's weird, but it's not like a problem. But like there are people out there that are just genuinely cursed. Like I genuinely feel bad for any young woman growing up with the name Jessica, because you're doomed.
That ain't so bad. There's that's still pretty common. And that's still around there.
No.
And
I just mean because as you grow older, you'll discover what people's experiences with Jessicas are. And they will reflect on you.
It's too popular. It's such a mixed bag. There's been awful and nice Jessicas. I don't have anything on that. You might have had a specific.
Have you ever met a nice Kyle?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. You might be going a little too fucking personal on some of those, but I've definitely met a nice Kyle. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've never met.
I grew up with a very chill Kyle, actually. A childhood friend who was like, yeah, no, totally. It's. I thought you were gonna go more so with the specifics of like an Agnes. In a post,
well, I mean, no.
post 2000 Agnes,
I think if you're gonna name your kid like an old person name, I think that's got its own merit, like Agatha,
Gertrude.
Ain't nothing wrong with a Gertrude.
Yeah.
Oh snap! It's the Trude.
There was,
and then they just vomit all over the floor.
Punch Mom was telling me about what was it? There was a baby, was it like Gershamel or something along those lines with just very
like the villain from the fucking Smurfs.
No. Like it was something. But just
that's Gargamel.
That was Gargamel. Yeah. It was like Gershamel or something along those lines, and just very, very Jewish parents that wanted a very, very traditional name for the kid, and they just went really old school on it. Yeah. Every once in a while you get one of those, but you got that, or you got your like Chastity,
You might.
That's when you're fucked. That's when it's over. Like.
So okay, names to raise a stripper by: Chastity, any rock,
Mineral or car.
any mineral.
Rock,
or
mineral,
car.
or car equals yes. Pole.
That's the game. That's the game. You go down to the guess that stripper, and it's they have the tags. It's rock, mineral, or car.
Correct. Yes. This is like the pole is adjacent to the crib. It is happening. And sometimes you can try to hide it with a Y, but or a K, but it's not. It's not.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah, it ain't. Yeah, you ain't real hiding it. We know. We seen it.
I see you, Quartz.
Mm-hmm. I see you, Jeep Grand Cherokee. Yeah. So, how is the village?
Well, those people needed fucking vaccinations. I tell you what. That would have done them some good. So I beat Village over the weekend. That is Resident Evil Village.
You know, it's come to my attention when you say that this is the first time a Resident Evil thing has like popped up, and like just from the promotional material and media, like I don't know what the common regular threat is.
It's Werewolf Mans.
Okay, so that lichen talk was
shown, but it wasn't like they spent just as much of the show off trailer stuff on Lady D and the daughters as they did like any enemy type, right? Because yeah, you're completely right. Like usually a Resident Evil game is defined in its marketing and its lead up as it's zombies. No, wait, this time it's not zombies. It's mold people. No, wait, it's zombies. You know, what have you. In this, your generalized monster type is twofold. You have lichens, which are werewolf mans, and you have I'm gonna call them ghouls. They're gaunt looking, swinging an axe at you, but very slow dudes or like a thrall, you know. Like
and this is the same
thrall.
world that has gotten through all the previous Resident Evil crises, correct?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Resident Evil Village is really good. I want to get that out of the way. It's visually gorgeous. It's a lot more inventive than Resident Evil 7 was, but it's very much in that same like first-person kind of thing. The enemy variety is great. The boss fights are fantastic. The pacing's really good. It's got a lot of good replay value with extra modes and collectibles and earning bonus weapons for New Game Plus, that kind of thing. Mercenaries is in it. But what's way more interesting than, you know, hey, it's a good video game, is like its presentation and its story and its setting. It feels like... So, did you play RE7, Wooly?
Just the demo.
Okay, but the demo featured what people are jokingly calling bio ghosts, right? Like, it's a ghost, but it's like, but isn't this a series about viruses and
monsters,
labs and monsters and whatnot? And then in RE7, it turns out that the hallucinations are caused by mold people. The spores get in your head and they make you hallucinate through mold telepathy, right?
Sure.
And it was like right on the edge of like not quite magic, but I guess I'll still believe this is like, you know, a biohazard instead of a magic, instead of just a straight up curse.
There's always a lab behind the curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Village is a really core, like, departure. Someone somewhere said, fuck it. We're just gonna have, like, the cast of the X-Men as antagonists here. What's this guy's bio power? He's Magneto. He's just literally Magneto. He walks around with pieces of metal and he's stepping up and down shit like a metal staircase of gears and shit like that.
So we're going Kojima with it then.
It's like they later on they'll tell you, oh, it was really a bio thing. Shut up.
Okay.
It's just magic now. And that's fine. But as a result, how do I put this? You know how, like, some Resident Evil games try and stay kind of grounded, like the originals or, like, even remake, right? It's like, this is a weapon some guy made in a lab. And then there are others, like RE4, which are like, screw it, it's an action nonsense, like zany adventure. This one jumps past all of the others to, like, go and live with, like, Devil May Cry. Like,
okay.
The clown shoes are on, and the makeup is on, and it's time to fucking do a kid's birthday party, because it is zany as shit.
And 7 did not do that then.
7 was, like, hyper grounded.
Okay.
7 tried its best to be very serious and, like, return to horror. And then they had a DLC where, like, the kid's uncle just shows up and he's old and he's just punching all the monsters because he's old.
Mm-hmm.
It's way out there. There are elements of the game that are so way out there that if I showed them to you, you would not correctly interpret it as being part of the Resident Evil series.
Does it work?
Yes, it totally does. It absolutely, completely works. And it makes me, like... And they hint that it will continue to go in this zany-ass direction in the future, which makes me excited. But it is, like, it's the first of, like, the direct sequels, because it's about Ethan again, right? And it's about Mia again, right? It's like
people seem to hate seeing a lot of Ethan flack.
Ethan rules. Ethan absolutely fucking rules. And some of the Ethan flack that you're seeing is that he sucks. Right? We've had decades of hyper-competent, attractive characters with faces that effortlessly go through their survival horror situation, possibly in some kind of military outfit with a hat or whatever. Ethan is a faceless goober that they desperately avoid showing his face. It's super weird. And is like an idiot. He's like a dumb person.
Okay.
And he is simultaneously, like, has the best and the worst comebacks I've ever seen in anything. Where, you know, the boss will yell out their final death cry of, like, ah, damn you, I hope, whatever. And then the boss crumbles, and then Ethan says his little one-liner. They are embarrassingly bad.
Okay.
They are astonishingly terrible. He kills a bug lady only to flatly say, yeah, I hate bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's like if every line from Leon and RE4 just completely missed the mark. just 100% fucking completely fell flat.
And also, he's not a tactical genius super protagonist.
No, instead we get to enjoy what is apparently the Resident Evil team's love of beating up their main character, because Ethan takes like astonishing amounts of horrible, painful damage throughout the game. Like it's as close to Dante as they could get within the setting.
So Dante never agonizes though, like
right.
Excuse me. Tomb Raider, perhaps. Modern Tomb Raider.
Well, so like within half an hour of starting the game, the man gets like his ring and his pinky finger and part of his left hand just chewed right off. And then he bandages it up, and you play the whole game with 8 fingers. But like 10 minutes after that, he gets angry at the monsters and just slams his horribly mutilated hand into like a windowsill and goes like, damn it, and like reacts nothing at all to the fact that he's pounding like an open stump into a windowsill.
Oh my god, 8 fingers specifically?
Yeah, of course.
Uh-huh.
Did you get it?
Uh-huh.
Did you get it?
Okay.
Ethan rules. Ethan totally rules in his fucking aggressive lameness.
Okay.
As for the game's like overall structure, it's super weird because its structure is that of Dark Souls 1.
What does that mean?
The opening cutscene is a fairy tale rendition of the magical history of the 4 lords that Ethan has to go destroy in order to unlock the Lord Vessel. It's literally a big chalice.
Okay. As briefed to him by someone on a computer?
No, his wife is reading a storybook to the kid, you see.
What a weird swerve.
Dude, like, I'll go grab a screenshot of what it looks like. It straight up looks like a fairy tale version of, like, the Dark Souls 1 intro. It's absolutely fucking... Like, I started it up and, like, just burst out, like, what? Like, we're doing this?
Because the energy I got from that demo, and what, you know, the implications were in 7 was like totally separate, grounded, realistic horror story with kind of like poltergeists and spoops.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while, you might catch an Umbrella logo, and it'd be like, oh shit, what's the connections, you know, and so on. So,
yeah, so I sent you 2 screenshots there to summarize what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay. No, that's...
Right?
Yeah, that's a go defeat the evils. There's a literal twisted castle in the background of one of those storybook screenshots. Okay.
Right, it's super weird. It's super fucking weird. It's awesome that it's so weird. And the game is straight up just divided into 4 pieces, and go get this boss. Go get this boss. Go get this boss. Go get this boss. And go through their themed area, all of which have a different style. And
go get this boss doesn't sound like survival horror.
It doesn't. I don't know what to call this game. Like I shot a lot of dudes. This is bordering on action horror, I would say. That being said, like it's going for, like, from tone, it's going for gothic horror, and it's each boss represents a different type of gothic horror. So Alcina represents like vampire gothic horror, right? Lady D right? You know who Lady D is? Big
No,
lady?
no, I know. I mean the other names you're throwing out or throughout. Sure.
Oh, I didn't. Alcina is her first name.
Okay.
Then you've got Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Evil
Oh,
Puppets.
wow. Okay, right down the list.
Yeah.
Lichens and werewolf. Yeah, okay.
Like
cool.
the whole batch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they each get their own different area, and two of them have areas that are way shorter because they have gimmicks that would have worn out their welcome. Like one boss area is a straight up escape room. And the escape room takes about, I don't know, an hour to do. And I replayed it yesterday. And when you know everything, it takes 15 minutes. Because you know the codes to doors and you just run right through it. And so it's actually great on replay. The game's great.
Does it moment to moment though, like are you playing RE7 too?
Yeah. Mixed with RE4. In fact, one of the most interesting things about it is I was playing it and I kept thinking and talking about, so everybody knows that they're making a Resident Evil 4 remake, right?
Mm-hmm.
This game is so close to RE4 in so many ways that I'm like, I feel bad for the people who are going to be making the Resident Evil 4 remake because it will feel like a ripoff of a game they already made. Because it's just like exploring the village and the merchant, which is a big fat guy called the Duke, and just the general like feeling and the locations. And it's like there's a lake boss that you fight.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a Mr. Feels tweet about how similar 4 is as well, and how the assets in this could just be used in that or something along those lines.
Oh, yeah. So I was overwhelmed by how similar it was and felt. And I decided to go back into my brain space and start digging through 20-year-old Resident Evil videos. Because there was something that that really stood out to me. Everybody knows that Resident Evil 4 got fucked up like 3 or 4 times, right? There was a version of the game that became Devil May Cry. There was a version of the game that was similar to the one we got, but it had zombies instead and it didn't really work. And then there was the game associated with what people call the Hookman demo. And the Hookman demo had super fancy graphics and had like a behind-the-back shoulder for Leon, but it would go like pre-rendered, like old-style camera angle sometimes. But what was more interesting to me is that there are 2 enemies that Leon fights in the old Hookman demo that came out in 2003, which is the year I graduated from high school. So this is ancient, right? And one of which is Leon walks into a room and a weird blue tint comes on the screen and a bunch of crazy dolls attack him. And that's what happens in one of the boss fights, down to the blue tint and the sound effects on the dolls.
Wow.
And then he continues to wander throughout the castle, and the Hookman comes out of a painting and can't be hit by normal gunfire until you run in front of a window and lightning strikes, and the blue flash of the lightning makes the Hookman targetable, which is a dead-on exact mechanic, except with cold instead of lightning, for the bug girls, like the goth girls that you fight in the castle, where you have to shoot out windows to make them cold, and then they attack you with sickles instead of hooks.
Wait, you defeat the girls by making them cold?
That's right. And then I went through.
Well, that doesn't sound too hard.
I went through the trailers, and like, man, that Hookman castle and Lady D's castle looked just like the castle from Malay Island in Devil May Cry 1.
Okay.
And RE4 and Haunting Ground, which are all like.
So they just went back and grabbed
I think they
a bunch of
went
shit
back and decided to just make the RE4 that we never got, which makes it like there's also like you straight up fight. There's a whole sequence of the game where you just fight a lake boss.
Okay.
Right.
Which,
there's a sequence
I mean,
of the game. Like it's crazy. Like it really feels like it's RE 3.5 brought back to life.
That makes sense considering that the franchise is in a place where it had to doing a whole new thing now, and it can do whatever it wants. So, like, going back to unused ideas from those eras would probably do really well for making it feel like it's still part of this thing, you know?
Yeah. Which is weird because as a result, Resident Evil 8 or RE Village feels like light years outside the realm of Resident Evil. Like it basically establishes that Resident Evil has just straight up magic, biomagic, whatever you want to call it, mind control, fucking magnetism, fucking like vampirism, the werewolves. Like,
but you're saying still that at the top layer there is still a lab coat somewhere studying whatever this is and writing about it. There is still even the slightest hint of a test tube.
There is literally one room in the game where there's like 3 files, and the files are like, so we used the bio
good enough
thing to
good enough,
and it's like
that's science.
Come on,
it's all science. Good enough.
So
that's fine.
Yeah, this series can now go anywhere and do anything. We can have like a fucking we can have ghost hunters. Fuck it. It can be done.
I'm curious to see how one makes a science demon.
Yeah, also the game sets itself up as the middle of a trilogy, which I was not expecting.
Does he regain another finger for the next?
Maybe he does.
Maybe
he'll grow back a
little
ninth finger. Maybe he does.
For the next game, which we've already called Resident Evil 6.
That's the one. That's the name of it. For maximum confusion. Oh, yeah, game's great. I absolutely think it's fantastic. I played it on the PS5, and I'm mostly done through it on the PC. PS5 version seems like it got a little more extra attention. It seems more consistent in its like performance. But apparently, all versions of the game, I have not seen anyone complain about like one version of the game being like, "Oh no, this version is bad." They all seem solid. It's kind of weird because this isn't very common for Resident Evil games. I super just want to talk about the story, but I won't because it has the zaniest shit ever in a Resident Evil game.
Were you satisfied with did you get enough Lady D in your coffee?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
I really liked the other sequences. The game is basically split into 5 parts, which is each of the 4 boss sections, and then you go back to the village for like an interim kind of hub thing in between. Lady D is up first, and her sequence is the longest in the game. And then you zip through 2 others that have boss gimmick areas, and then you go to the last one, which is the second longest area in the game.
Because I could see a situation where she's part of of this story, and she fulfills that role, but the popularity leads to like there being a demand for more and more and more of her to be like, you know, more than she was actually designed to be, because like it kind of was in the works already when she was discovered and released.
Yeah, they definitely didn't do that, and
go back and add
she's
more.
There for her,
yeah,
she's there for the section that she's in, and she has the scenes that she has, and that is it.
okay.
The end result of it, even if you're somebody who followed the game like pretty religiously, like I did, as long as you didn't watch the launch day trailer, which was apparently just showed everything in the whole game, that they showed almost nothing of that game. Like the Lady D stuff is like the first 30% of the game, and then you move on to the rest of the bio mutants and whatnot. Uncharacteristically for a Resident Evil game, all the boss fights are really good. I would say that there is not a single bad boss fight of the entire pack. Usually there's one that's like awful.
Okay. And would you say that, like, now that you're 2 games into this trilogy, I suppose, of new things, like, is there a new cast of characters that, you know, like, kind of, I guess, replace the old guard?
No. No.
No. Okay.
Chris is there.
That he was in the trailer. That's
part
true.
Of the story.
That's true. Yeah. All right.
And he's around doing his Chris stuff. Ethan just happened. Ethan feels like he's not even the main character of his own story. If that makes any sense. Like he feels like he just like fell backwards into the story that like Chris is having.
Sure. Yeah. New protagonist in an established world. I mean, that's that's always, there's always a place for that energy, and like it can go a couple different ways. I mean, Raiden is one of the routes you can go with that.
Just saw it in the chat. Perfectly nailed it. Ethan is Josuke in part 4.
Sure. There's that. I was gonna say Danganronpa 2 as well has a like new protagonist step in and kind of fills a certain role as being like similar to, but then different in ways, and then you're like, oh, okay, and then they go a place with it where you're like, yeah, sure, you've gotta be your own thing while continuing to make the series recognizable.
The only downside I would say about the game in general is a downside that is literally the same in every Resident Evil game to ever come out, which is the first area and parts of the second area have you sneaking around and scrounging for ammunition and exploring this big labyrinthine area with all these different paths and rooms, and every area after it becomes slightly more linear and slightly more action focused until the last 10% of the game is a fucking shooting gallery, which has been the case since the first game back in 96.
Okay.
But I will say that this one has the best shooting gallery at the end of all of them.
Wow. Okay.
Like, easy.
How long was it by comparison?
It has 2 lengths. And I understand why the reviews were very confused, because reviews put it at 11 hours and people went, that's pretty short. And that's because that's the in-game timer that they give you at the very end of the game that does not count cutscenes or restarts. So it actually took me 15 and a half hours, but the in-game timer said 10 and a half.
Okay. Your speed run clock.
Yeah, and then on replay, I think I'm getting it down on my replay down to like 7, and there's an achievement, of course, for getting it under 3, because it's a Resident Evil game. You have to be able to beat them in a single sitting afternoon.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's great. And more importantly, More importantly than it's good is that all Resident Evil games follow the formula I just described, and like we joked about how it goes village, castle, sewer, lab, or island, right? In RE7, the middle section, which is a boat, like you get about 60% through RE7, and the game just becomes bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like the Baker Estate in 7 is fantastic, and then you get to a boat and the game just like
Location
fucking
switch.
crashes.
Yikes. Okay.
It's this really weird thing also that like Resident Evil games on boats are bad. Boat sections of Resident Evil games are not good. Resident Evil Gaiden takes place on a cruise ship, and it's terrible. Resident Evil Gun Survivor 3 takes place on a boat, it's terrible. Resident Evil Revelations takes place inside a boat, it's mediocre. Resident Evil 5's boat sequence sucks.
I only, of course, have limited experience here, but I can say that with, like, in 2, the police station was the coolest area that I saw.
Yep.
In 4, the initial village was the coolest area. And in 5, the initial village was the coolest
Every
area.
time. The first area is always the best one.
Yeah, easily.
And in Village, it's the castle.
Okay.
Like they always put their best foot forward. And it's like kind of like
It's like it's
That
the
being
setting
said-
that you're advertising, practically, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
That being said, I think that Village probably has the least drop in quality from the first area to the last of all of them.
Okay. Cool.
Like
That's
some
good.
like some games that you're like, I'm just gonna stop playing once you get to the final level if you're on a replay because you're like, I don't care anymore. This one, no, the final big zone is pretty good. I liked it a lot.
And the path forward for the franchise is clear.
No, it's actually super unclear.
Okay, all right.
It's super unclear. I have no idea what they're doing.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I played this week. Also, hey, I have a piece of advice for anyone going to play Resident Evil Village. There is a post-credit scene, so don't skip the credits. And also, this is the only game I have ever seen in my life to do this. But my advice is to not read the credits.
What?
Because the post-credit scene is spoiled by the voice acting list on the side of the screen.
Oh, they tell you.
I originally didn't notice,
okay.
but they do the thing where they show the voice acting credits for English, French, Spanish, Russian, Polish, and you see and like, wait, who is that? Like over and over and over and over and over, and it totally spoils the
stinger
thing. I'm like, come on.
Yes,
Don't look at the screen. Don't look at it.
No, you got to do that thing where you have a second. You have an end to the stinger that's crediting whoever that was for whatever thing, where you don't let that happen. That's a mistake. Okay.
Yeah, Village is great. Very good. Like it. Yes.
Cool. More of that over at
Pat Stairset. Well, actually, no, because I beat it. It's done. It's
okay.
over.
Well.
What will be going is I'm going to finish Disco this week and play some Nier, and then we're going to be watching some of the Final Fantasy live letter stuff that's going to be coming out this week, where they're going to show off the rest of the Endwalker stuff and new class and all that stuff. That'll be late Friday and Saturday.
Okie doke. Over yonder on this side of things. Yeah, I had a week of some stuff. I guess I will start by saying I watched a movie. It was pretty good. I thought it was well put together, well directed, good acting, good script. That movie was The Godfather 2.
Okay.
It was good.
Prequel to The Godfather 3, apparently.
So I hear. Yeah. There, you know, what is there to say? It's a good movie. I then binged all of Invincible.
Oh yeah.
Did that in one sitting. And that's interesting because I first heard about Invincible back when I was in college, and a friend of mine who was super into comics was like, "Here, dude, you gotta read these. You know, you gotta check this series out." And like, I was like, "Yeah." But I didn't get around to it, and it was like, I remember, based on the way he talked about it and who he was, that I kind of was like, oh, I already kind of have an idea for what this is going to be. Have you seen any of it or anything about it?
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of clips fly by me on the timeline. It seems good. For some reason, I have no interest in it. It's kind of weird to me, but okay.
I feel as if it's like. It was pretty good. You know, I look forward to seeing the next seasons as they come. And yes, memes have been fucking omnipresent, and just like, boy, that thing, like, it, I don't know, like when the meme of the moment comes and hits, there's stuff that hits like the you know, the WandaVision wink, you know, was in for a minute there. But this is like the new Hail Hydra. It's
the format.
Yeah, it's a format, exactly. So it just, yeah. But anyway, the it's interesting because it's another story that like comes out and is good, but the timing of it is clearly only allowed to exist now in a post MCU world. You know, it's another story that never would have had the light of day shown on it until superheroes became the thing that they are now, where they're like, okay, we'll invest money in that.
I think probably the funniest thing that I've personally seen about Invincible is a hard drive article that I think was published earlier today, which was Jeff Bezos finds nothing suspicious about funding 2 TV shows about what if Lex Luthor's villain was a jerk.
So yeah, The Boys as well is, I said the exact same thing about that too, where it's like, oh yeah, here was a story that existed 20 years ago, 15 years ago, but just now that now that, you know, the superheroes are a humongous deal, you can actually get these like what if stories told. And I don't know, like, some people say it wouldn't have worked before. I disagree, but I do see how there would have been a smaller audience that would have cared. You know, like, this has brought in a larger audience but I think that like a bunch of like the impact that like both of these shows goes for in a way is like, it's better. I feel like it has more impact closer to when it was released, when it was written, than it does further out in time. You know, comic movies are starting to explore the like kind of strange takes off of the default. You know, like, we're starting to get a little bit more deviant storylines with things, but like I feel like those stories were, you know, they had their moment in comics well after an established bunch of hero stories came that did a bunch of things with each of these characters and showed you, what if Superman Red Sun, you know, what if all this wild shit. And like the further out you kind of take it, I kind of feel like it does like lessen the impact somewhat. But as their own self-contained worlds, these are still interesting things, and you can check them out and enjoy them for what they are. But I do think that like it would have been nice if it could have been done earlier.
How old is it?
Again, I don't know when Invincible was made, but I know that I was in college when I was being recommended to read it. So
2005. Like yeah, okay.
Yeah,
it's proper ancient.
I was going to say minimum. I was going to say minimum 15 years because I was in college in 2004, 2005. So.
Same time as that Hookman demo. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. So, worth it. And, it's also one of those things that it's like, okay, like not, the animation is doing what it's doing and it's pretty good. Like it's not like, suffering from any like low budget, things. Like it's not suffering from, what I've seen of, what is it? The animated version of, A Way of the House Husband, where they've effectively taken panels and started sliding layers around.
Shit sucks.
If you pitch it as a cinematic graphic novel, you can probably get away with that. You can probably be fine.
In every region other than English-speaking regions, it's being portrayed as a motion comic.
Yeah.
But in English, it's being called an animated series.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't
get the fuck out of here. Shut up.
Call it a motion comic, set the expectations, and then you're fine. In fact, have the camera move from panel to panel just to emphasize how much it's not supposed to be animated. Because yikes, when things stop moving for like 10 seconds and your brain goes, what is happening? You can't call it an anime and have anyone fucking be fooled by that. Anyway, yeah, this is not that. This is working well. Good voice cast as well. Yeah, it's an easy binge. I think 8 episodes in the first season, 44 minutes each.
Oh, they're long. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So is it done? Like, are they adapting a completely finished thing?
The story? Probably, yeah. I mean, it's that old, but there's definitely more seasons, and I know the story continues because I've seen characters that are in from this comic that have not arrived in the story yet.
Okay,
so,
yeah. I just like Invincible hit me with like the weirdest first impression possible, which was me browsing the subreddit and seeing a out of context panel of Paige and I in the comic, and being like, why is that just literally my fiance and like a tiny cartoon version of me? What is that? That's so weird.
Yeah, there's redheads and bald beard dudes out there. You're gonna have that.
No, there aren't. That's a lie.
I put a lot of time into Returnal.
You did?
Yes.
Huh, okay.
And
let's fucking talk about Returnal.
I really like it. I really like it.
It's hanging in the air.
I had a moment where I picked up a Parasite and I kind of just I looked at it and I was reading its description, and then I had a moment of like flashing to me like, what if this was Samus? And then I went, fucking Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was just the briefest moment, just a single solitary flash of what if Samus, and then I went fuck, and then anyway continued to enjoy it for what it was, because it's definitely its strong own thing.
Yeah, SAX shit.
Mhm.
Like, absolutely. The parasites in that game are super weird. I think Mr. Feel summed it up, which is like the parasites only have two types. There's like, what was it? Is like you do 200% more damage, but you can only have 4 slices of cake at your birthday party, versus sometimes you won't use keys and all of your bones are hollow. Like they're either extremely good or incredibly worthless.
Yes.
Like I think the most common one I pick up is like it won't use a consumable item and then it will detach and give you 2 critical malfunctions.
Yes, there's that.
Like fuck that.
I
Holy
open every single corrupted thing I find.
Oh, interesting.
Every single one. I take every corrupted chest, I pick up everything purple, give it to me, because I'm going to stack those fucking malfunctions and then clear them. Or get lucky and find a consumable that'll clear them for me. I'll do the requirement every time.
Because if you get 3, it like deletes like a passive buff item from your inventory.
Yeah, I will clear the 2. No, I never go to 3. I clear the 2 and then go back and get the last one.
That's interesting because I've done it completely opposite, in that I refuse to pick up the purple stuff because I usually open up a purple chest and it's a weapon that I don't want to pick up.
Sometimes, but sometimes it's amazing.
And it makes me so mad.
Yeah. I don't like the penalties are not even that bad most of the time. Or they will be horrible, but like you can clear it by opening one chest, or like it's I find it not that bad. I'll take and the chances you take.
I've had a terrible batch of luck with that.
The chances you take end up being super worth it though, because you either end up with a god build or you get something horrible and then you possibly die and then you have to do it again. But like I like angling for that god build, so I'm just like, yeah, fucking take all of that purple. Really enjoy, like the what is it? The gun that is, it's an automatic and occasionally it shoots out what I'll call like sonic booms. Like
the Hollow Seeker?
Hollow Seeker is a thing of beauty. Huge fan of the Hollow Seeker.
Yeah, when I got it, I was like, this fucking thing is the shit.
Huge fan of the stakes that like have the electricity, the red.
I hate that thing.
Oh no! Sustained damage while you're moving is amazing because it's a set. You shoot it, you set up the traps around, and then you forget it because that enemy is gonna die in a couple seconds.
See, I prefer I prefer under like a similar mentality. I prefer the I don't know what to call it, but the goo gun that fires like a grenade.
The goo gun's great too.
Damage over time.
That's also really good. Yes.
The reason I like that one the best probably is because it is the most common one that you get with the stats that it will just one-shot the flyers.
The goo gun is fantastic, and the overdrive reload rhythm is nice to it. I like that.
I like it.
But I will say that the pylon really lets you just shoot an enemy and forget it. And that's fantastic, especially when you have a complicated bullet pattern to deal with. The sustained damage is incredible on the pylon.
I think the gun I've actually gotten the farthest with by far is just the default machine gun. I think it's called the Tachyon machine gun.
Yeah.
Because I got one that had rising pitch, which is like faster and faster shots, and leeching bullets, which heal you.
Nice. Okay.
So I got to a boss and it would hit me and I was shooting it so often that I would actually heal up to higher than I was before it hit me. I was like, well, this is going to be the one. And it was.
When you definitely weren't kidding when the story comes in, it's doing a very like deep, like specific space horror vibe that I absolutely enjoy. Very cool of them to drop PT right into the middle of the game.
Yeah.
They just are like, hey, we're going to put PT right here, by the way. Enjoy that.
Here it is. Enjoy it. Bam. Did you get to the game's second act?
so this is where let me I'm gonna get to that in a second as far as progress goes. The in Returnal, the way the DualSense controller is used is not just really good. This is the best rumble that has ever been in a video game.
Yeah,
it's
great,
unbelievably a cut above everything I've ever played. The sophistication of how, like, it's constant, right? The rumble is not just occasionally when you fire a rocket or when something hits you. It is a constant, like, a reminder of, like, every little teleporter you step on, every time your secondary fire comes back. It indicates all kinds of things that I wouldn't have been thinking about, or rather, like there's the sound effect of your secondary fire coming back. Like, the fact that you just feel it ready to go is incredible.
Fire recharging is, you're not gonna miss that happens.
Yeah,
because your controller goes blow, and the noise coming out of the controller is loud as fuck.
Yes, it's similar to a max act noise, actually. Right? It goes like in it you definitely know you have it back. Furthermore, if you keep it aimed down with the secondary fire, which the 2-tier function works fantastically, you can feel then you hear it louder, because it's like you hear the sound of it slowly coming back up. Yeah. You know, there's one piece of feedback that I don't like, and it's that every time you get a new layer, a new level of proficiency, you glow red as if you took damage. And
yeah,
I'm not a fan of that, because it's just a visual, like, oh fuck, something's, no wait, no, that was good. And like all these runs later, I'm still like, yeah, the red flash makes it look like you're taking damage there, you know? So that being said, right, best rumble ever, really good space story, everything's great. Here's what's not great, is this game is literally not finished. It is released and sold, and there are aspects to it that I'm looking at as, this is fucking early access. And I had bad luck of the draw on some of the problems, but
yeah,
in the end, they were huge issues, because first off, the non-save issue, we know about the fact that, yeah, like we talked about it, like you literally can't stop a run mid-run, and it's a long game, so, or it's longer than most of these of this genre.
Yeah, like, did you ever do like a full 1-2-3 run? It's like 2.5 hours.
So the first time that I got a really good run going, and I got to the final area, or rather the third area, excuse me, not the final area.
Yeah.
I got to the third area. I got to, like, basically I cleared the first area, cleared the first boss, jumped into the second area, and like went through it in one. I went through it once, first time cleared it, right?
Yep.
Straight to the third area, checked out a bit of the third area, and then I was like, all right, well, I know there's the saving thing, but the game says suspend it, so I put my thing to rest, and I'm like, I'll come back to it tomorrow. Literally, that was the night that they updated the game. So when I came back to it the next night, the game had closed to update. I lost my run. Fucking sucked. Right?
Oh, you think that's bad? Did you grab the 1.33 patch earlier this week?
I must have, because it's all automatic.
Well, if you played the 1.33 patch, it destroys your save file.
So I didn't have that occur to me. What I had occur was I lost my fucking run, right? And I was like, God damn it. I knew this was a possibility. I didn't know it was going to happen just this night, so I took a chance and went to sleep and woke up, and that's what happened. Then I had another run where I wasn't far along, but whatever. I came back to the game, and same thing. They patched it again, so there was a second like half run lost, but it wasn't a big deal because I wasn't that far. When I was playing last night, and I got another good run, and I was at the Citadel again,
Yeah.
third area. This time, the game just fucking crashed on me.
Yep, I had that happen.
I looked at the map and unpaused it, and then it just killed my run. And I'm like, this fucking sucks, because this is not take a chance, do your dance, and fucking put the thing in sleep mode. This is like, no, it just killed my run for looking at the map. And again, you're feeling, I'm like, this could go all the way, feeling good about it, you know? Absolutely, like, demotivational fucking moments, you know, when you lose that progress, man.
I'll use Gungeon because I'm the most familiar with Gungeon out of any roguelike. A full run of Gungeon that includes the first, second, third, and fourth secret zones for a total of like 10 areas, right? Takes like an hour to do, right? Like an average attempt at the Citadel, if you skip the second level, is like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that there's no way to pause and leave. And there's no autosave to keep your progress in case it crashes. I've totally had the game crash on me twice when I'm in, like, deep into a run. And it's fucked up. It sucks.
Because now I'm like, it's not just if I walk away from it, right? It's random, and it really robs me of, like, the desire to take that chance again. I have started a couple that have just ended early where I'm like, not finding anything good, not getting anything I like, you know, whatever. And, you know, you just kind of, like any of these roguelikes, you see what happens, and then you roll the dice and it's no good. But
yeah, you can get a bad first level and you're like, fuck it.
But when I ended up getting, like, my two best runs, both times, they fucking were lost, you know? And I'm like, this game's not done yet, man. You know?
So it's wild because, like, when you get to Act 2, a new problem arrives, which is the Act 2 also has 3 zones, and they're different from the Act 1 zones, right? And the problem is like, one of the cool things about roguelikes is that each run has you go through all this wide variety of areas and enemies and whatnot. It's like, I hate the enemies in the first zone of Act 2.
Right, you mentioned, yeah.
I hate them. Yeah. I fucking hate them. And I enjoy the second act less than the first one.
Now, much smaller issue, but still something I saw and fucking hit the share button for, is every time you pick up a piece of new equipment off of, like, the ground and whatever in a cutscene, for some weird reason, the object being picked up is not properly attached to her hand, and it's floating. And I've had one where she picks up the melee weapon for the first time, and it's sliding up and down around, following her hand, and it's just like it's like a second behind the animation, you know.
I had one where the grappling hook was doubled on
duplicated,
and one was like a couple inches off.
Exactly, same thing, right? So that's like just a fucking C-class nonsense bug. But when I see that, I'm like, but you're gonna see it every time. That's a C-class, but it's like guaranteed user path. Like, you're going to run into that. Like, that strikes me as a bug that they're like, yeah, we'll get around to. Like, the game ain't done. It ain't done. The fact that there's no saves and they shipped it anyway is one thing, but now it's crashing on me, and I'm like, man, like, I might just want to do these daily challenge things, because I, you know, at least, like, those are like, you start in the middle of a run.
Weapons too.
Yeah, you start in the middle of a run. You can have some fun playing it in whatever area, and, like, you know, get as far as you can or whatever. But, like, when my shit just dies and I don't know when it's gonna happen again, like, that's fucking killing me, because I'm having a lot of fun with the game.
I hit a fucking wall.
Full price.
And I spoke with I think it was KZ about it, and it I'm sure most people would agree with me, but I can get up to Zone 5. And you know those like on your mini map, they're like kind of beige rooms where you have to shoot a monster on the door to get in, and they're combat challenges.
Mm-hmm.
World 5 has one of those, and it is mandatory. Like, you absolutely need to do it to continue. And it is a full order of magnitude more difficult than everything else in the game. It is fucked how much harder it is than all the rooms around it. And I have made 4 runs of getting to that, and both were 90 minutes long, only to walk into the room and die in sub 10 seconds.
Wow.
And I have not played that game in a week as a result, because it's just like so frustrating.
The run that I had lost to, at least that second one that crashed on me, was actually like the build I was trying to get from the jump. Was I want to see how melee focused can you go, and you absolutely can make a melee specific character where I had extra damage on melee, a bolt of tracking electricity on every kill, heals on melee kills, right? Like a bunch of really good stuff that was like, oh no, get in there with your fucking sword. And it was a ton of fun. You know, you sacrifice all healing items to just heal by killing. And it just like, yeah, I feel like it's what I want to currently pop in and play and do a quick run of, but like,
yeah, talking about it makes me want to go play it.
Yeah, but like if I run into like another severe like fucking crash or update killing my progress or whatever, because I can't, like, so far I'm like, look, I don't think I'm gonna get the 3-hour clear to do it in one sitting. Like, I'm just not gonna have that, you know. If I lose another thing, I'm just gonna have to fucking put this on the back burner and wait until it gets fixed. But right now, like, full warning to anybody that like is out there looking to get this game, it's fucking incredible, but it ain't done. You know, just real talk.
It's also got a different issue, and it's related to the price. And like I talked about it a little bit last week, but you have a lot more context for it now, which is like, so you do 1 to 3, and then you do 4 to 6, right? And then there's like a secret ending that you can, it's go find items within levels to get a secret ending, right?
Sure. That's what that is. Okay, good. Yeah.
And then you're done. And then you get to pick whether or not you want to do 1 to 3 or 4 to 6. And that's it. And it's weird to me because, like, even the most basic of roguelikes, it's like, well, what about secret levels or extra bosses or like a challenge run, or, you know, and they have that challenge mode for high scorers, but like that's it. And it's like usually what a game would do, like an Isaac or like a Gungeon or something like that, they would go, hey, we added a new floor that you can access through this or whatever. And it's like, I don't want a new floor in this. Runs are already way too long. So we just beat It Takes Two, which is solid co-op, right? Yeah. Again, probably about 12 hours, you know, and lots of hidden, and that was like we did our run. Hey, I'm getting a soda. Do you want anything?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm good, thanks. Cool. Anyway, you get It Takes Two, where like it's not about the replay, because I mean, like, you know, Faris actually says like, yeah, this like fuck, he pretty much said like fuck replay or whatever it was in that quote. But you have hidden mini games, you have things to discover, and we beat it, and we realized we only found maybe like 60% of the little competitive games in that you can have while you play it. And it was a full experience, and we paid. It was $55 Canadian, right? So, it's like, I don't know what it is, but just there's full retail, and then there's other full retail that's not quite as full, because 55 is certainly not, full indie price. But it's certainly less than 80, and I got a real good expected experience out of that price for the game, and for the size of what Returnal is, or at least what I'm hearing about it and what I've seen of it. It's like that doesn't. I don't know.
You're paying.
It feels like 55 would have been better
there.
You're
paying for the DualSense, and you're paying for the
first
shiny.
Party.
And I look at that and I'm like, I would legitimately rather play this $20 flash looking game.
Yeah. Now Hollow Knight is insanely undervalued, and that's not the type of thing. I actually
meant Isaac, but yeah, Hollow Knight is not fair to anyone.
Yeah, that's a beyond like ridiculous amount of money they're asking you for. They should get way more than that. But this is just this is an example of something that I'm gonna get what I feel would have been a $55 to $60 game out of it, But that price tag, it sucks that I keep thinking about it, but it's definitely there, man. You're
paying like $90 to $100 for a roguelike, and it crashes on you and blows your entire afternoon.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow. Not to mention the people, like, they put out a patch that destroyed your save file if you played it. Like, straight up.
Yeah. I luckily didn't have that fucking happen. But the what was the other thing too? This game has a weird thing that I can't remember if I've ever experienced this before, but Returnal has this thing where when you first start it, because of how gorgeous it looks and how proper AAA everything sounds and feels and everything. Triple I. You walk around in this jungle and you're looking at everything as if it's not a roguelike that you're supposed to just ignore. You're spending so much time.
A premier action game.
Yeah.
Statue.
Yeah. And then an hour and a half later, you're
sprinting through every area, and it might as well just be cubes.
Yeah, I'm like, green line over there, yellow line over there, purple. What does it say? Read it. Okay, good. Blue. Don't even check it. Next. I couldn't be less concerned about the environment because you're just Isaacing through it.
It gets real bad because one of the problems that I didn't have last week, but I have it now because I played more of it, is, so you notice that there's only a certain amount of rooms that the game cycles through.
Yep.
That becomes a really big problem at some point because there are really not enough cells. Because you enter into a room, I can enter into a room anywhere within the fourth zone, and I've been there and I know exactly where to go, and the environment may not as well even matter.
For me, it's the first zone.
Mastery aspect.
Yeah, first zone, I know every room type. And I know exactly where the secrets are and where to look and what corner to drop down to see the little extra.
There aren't enough. Mm-hmm. There really aren't enough. It feels like there are 30 per zone. And it's not enough because
have you done area?
A lot of them.
Have you done area 2 multiple times?
Yes.
Okay. I've only seen the one version of that initial area, and then second time going through I was skipping, so I assume it's just kind of like the walls are up.
It's the open desert and then the interior.
The wall, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's a weird feeling of just I was paying attention to every little fucking fauna and flora detail, And like now I'm just like, yeah, Isaac Room 2, Isaac Room 3. What's that?
It's
It's
the thing where, like, I love big fancy graphics. I love them, and I like to see the graphic go up. But like, there are very real diminishing returns, and like, I'll take Monster Hunter as an example. Am I happy that Monster Hunter World looks way better than Monster Hunter Generations? Absolutely. Right? I'm much happier that Monster Hunter World and Rise use a regular controller instead of the 3DS analog nub. Rise looks terrible compared to World on a PC, but it's fine. After a certain amount of time, it just looks like Monster Hunter. Returnal looks gorgeous, and I'm glad it does, but I would gladly have made that game look twice as shitty to get twice as more levels in that game. In a second. Like, not even a second thought.
Yeah.
I look at Returnal as the best example of saying, like, I want shorter, uglier games made by people who are paid better.
Yeah, playing enough Hades and playing enough well, a couple of them. Like, I feel as if, yeah, Hades has the issue of, you see the room types, you know what it is, you've done it before. I feel as if God, I always fucking slag on its name because it's not a great one. Whatever Souls,
Dead Cells?
Dead Cells. I don't like the name Dead Cells at all. I hate it. Yeah, Dead Cells. You run into the sim issue with like some of those towers and some of those,
Yeah,
like
Gungeon has that problem. I think the only one that doesn't is Isaac, because there's just so many fucking thousands of permutations.
And I didn't. So in the first roguelike game I played was Rogue Legacy. That's the first one I've ever played.
That's a good one.
And I didn't feel too much repetition there too. Maybe it's the perspective change, being 2D, being side scrolling, but no, because Dead Cells. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel the repetition as hard in that game either. But I also
Rogue
didn't play it as
Legacy
much.
2 looks really good, but man, they're taking forever. It's a bummer.
Yeah. So anyway, the Returnal is fantastic, but goddamn, these are some glaring flaws that we're gonna have to fucking.
Yeah, you see what I meant? Like, oh man, it's so fancy and feels so good to play. Like oh man, it rules when you're playing it. But the structure around it is like fighting itself constantly. It's so frustrating.
Now, they could update the game to feature a save and quit and add more seeds to the
they say they're looking at it.
It's possible.
The save and quit function specifically.
Yeah, they could add more variations to those room types. As a big update at some point.
I want a mode that cuts the zones in half but plays all of them in a row.
Interesting.
I would prefer that those zones are a third as long, but you go through all 6 levels in a row.
Sometimes I get lucky and I have like a straight shot with a couple of side paths, and sometimes you get a tunneling nightmare of circles that require you to just Y branch on top of Y branch on top of Y branch.
Yeah, I've gotten runs in which like literally the first side path is the portal to the second room.
And the teleportation points are too far apart. Where there's a whole chunk in the middle where I'm like, you're just gonna have to backtrack here, and yeah. Anyway,
it's good, but
for sure. And then yeah, just lastly, quick word on played some barrel ass fighting games today. Kenju was brought out of the barrel and fucking put on the table on Get Into Fighting Games. This is an Atomic Wave fighter. It is very reminiscent of the cell shading style of Project Justice.
I see it.
Cool character designs, cool, overall pretty good fighting game. Like, not bad.
I'm looking at a guy who is definitely not Terry Bogard.
Not Terry Bogard at fighting not Batsu. For sure. And the weirdest thing is just that this game is basically complete. Like, it's a full-ass fighting game that was made by Dream Factory of Tobal #1 fame. And, it just never came out. But not only that, it's also of Urgai's fame, because there's a level in there that is the train level that is 100% just an asset drop from Urgai's God Bless the Ring.
Oh, wow. I'm looking at some, like, a lot of these characters are, like, legally distinct. Like, there's a guy that looks just like Freeman. There's a guy that looks just like Whole Horse. There's, like...
There's a couple of character designs in there that are reminiscent of things, for sure.
Yosuke, but he's got black hair, even does a backflip with the same leg. Get the fuck out of here! Come on, Kenju.
Game's fun though, and again, I don't know why it never came out. They put the work in. It's all there. It's full stages, full characters, 2 outfits on each one. When you do second player, you do a mirror match, they have different outfits. Like, this system is it's got a Gatling combo system where you can chain your buttons together into like a launcher, and there's a whole thing going on. It was I don't know. It just something about it.
What year is this?
Atomic Wave. I mean,
that ran for like 10 years.
Atomic Wave died. Taito Type X2 came in and took over. Atomic Wave was post Naomi, pre Taito Type X2, so you're talking early aughts, no later than probably 2005, 2006. Somewhere between 2003 and 2006, I would say.
This game... God, I have something really specific that I want to say, but I don't know if I have the words in me to say it. This game, Kenju, the fighting game, looks like what a 3D artist would draw as a fantasy of old-style PS1-style Mega Man Legends-looking fighting games that never came out for their portfolio.
Yes. I know exactly what you mean. Like, it's a specific cell shading that is, it's not cell shaded. It's textures drawn to look like cell shading, and but it's because it's on Atomic Wave. They're actually like rendered smoothly, and they're and like crisp, and it has baked on lighting.
Like, this straight up looks like a fake game that somebody made concept art of, like, hey, what if?
I love that style though. Like that, that style of
nice.
It's a very cool style. Yeah. When with the baked on like textures that are just like really crisp and bright, colorful. It's also like reminiscent of Jet Set Radio kind of energy with some of the designs as well when you take a look at it. So yeah, Kenju, it's pretty all right, not too bad. And then I introduced Reggie to the legacy of Weapon Lord and everything that game represents, which is just the impenetrable, unbelievably ahead of its time, so ahead of its time that it's basically impossible to really get into fighting game that was made by D. James, who created DJ in Street Fighter. It's just as hard to get into now as it was when we first talked about it, but like, it is still a marvel. It featured fucking parries and focus attacks and brutalities, head combos. It featured literal online play before online play existed. It featured all these crazy things, and you gotta praise it for what it tried, even though they made the humongous mistake of like relying on negative edge input to make all the moves work. So what that means is...
I don't know why they did that.
It was the thought that, like, with an arcade stick, you could just get more done holding a button down and then doing your wild input and then releasing it. I don't know. It was just... D. James, the creator of Weapon Lord, thought negative edge was the future. To explain what that means is you hold down, let's say, heavy punch, and then you do your stick input, your stick directions, and then release the button for your move to come out.
I don't like the way it feels, man.
There are times when that works well, and there are times when it doesn't. The times it works well is for the thrust block system, which is effectively a Soul Calibur parry, high, mid, or low. You hold your jab button down and you press up, forward, or down, and then it'll be like, riposte, I'm gonna deflect your shit. And then for every other move, it's terrible. Yeah. Like, your main character has like a main, like their signature move is like holding down medium or heavy kick and then doing forward, up, forward, and then releasing heavy kick, Like, it's like, you're supposed to do that quickly and casually and constantly? What the shit? So weird. But yeah, it's a still fucking, like, it is a museum piece that needs to be examined for what it was, because that's what happens when you go full tournament without a single thought towards the casual player in mind. When you hit versus mode on the main select screen, it drops you into a tournament bracket format right away.
God, that's true. That was
so you go to versus mode, and then it says enter your name up to 8 players. And then you all enter your name, and then you set single matches or 2 out of 3. Winner stays on, and then you press start, and then it takes you...
That's so up its own ass, man. Oh, my God.
And then you get straight into it. Dude, that mode needs to exist, and it's great that it does, but you can't have it be the immediate selection on versus. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It was basically quarters up in cartridge form. Anyway, so by quarters up, I mean literally putting your quarter on the arcade machine and calling next. It was it's crazy, but like I you have to fucking look at it and go, damn, they tried some shit. Also, it doesn't hurt that it's a fucking like amazing metal themed game where all the stages and character designs are fucking badass, like they're super strong designs. So yeah, get into fighting games, Weapon Lord. Get into fighting games. Kenju coming up this week as well. Reggie was definitely not ready for the move lists and the things that Weapon Lord had to offer. So
I remember when I played it with you guys, I was not ready for it.
Nope.
That game's out there.
But God bless it for existing, because you need the extremes to point to, right? In history, you need the extremes to say, okay, that is too far on that side. You went too far in that direction, and now we can say...
You need air guys to show people how to do a good main menu noise.
There you go. We need outliers in history to point to learn from. This is how I feel. Yeah, let's get into fighting games, and all that continues over on Wooly Versus. Not much to say, but Disco Elysium continues, and
I saw a recent video that you put up where you failed a visual calculus check. And
I sure did.
It's a visual calculus check that I did not fail myself, so it was new content for me. And you visually calculated the gardener's look, and you were left with one option.
This is correct.
And that option was, all you can tell is that she is a different skin color than you. That's all I've got. You're just going to have to go with it. And you click on you're black, and I got to see you and Reggie just both double, like, I don't know what to call it, palm to the forehead.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw you reload your save like a pussy.
That is not even the extremities of the reloading and the scumming. Did you see what happened almost immediately after or before that?
I did not.
Okay. This game lets you do some shit that it should not let you do.
Yeah, I know what it was. Set her free?
Oh my god!
Did you pass the check?
No.
You game over.
I can't believe how far off the beaten path it lets you go. Disco Elysium is like, it's insane. The fact that they wrote...
It lets you go towards dead ends.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they let you choose what is obviously a completely nonsense, insane bullshit way to go, and instead of just giving you a joke answer and looping you back to the main path...
Let's explore how this would play out.
What do you mean you want to do this thing? You want to point the firearm at the child, you say? Yeah. Yeah, it's... Holy shit.
There's an
I wasn't ready.
term that I'm sure a lot of people know about. It's called yes and.
Yeah, of course. We talk about that a lot.
And it's specifically
yes
and instead of no but.
Yes.
And games, by their very nature, always say no but. But this game, every now and then, actually does say yes and. And when it does, it's a trip.
So I literally brought that up to explain how surprised I was, because then sometimes when you choose an option that is just straight up racist, the game will be like, no yes and for you. There's no playing along here. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. You don't get rewarded there. You know, like it legitimately will have the most insane like guidon of your nonsense shenanigan and whim, and then other times just cut you off and go, no, you don't get fun for that. You know, it's wild. I can't believe how not ready I am for what this game has to offer.
There's a cool little detail in the universe in that in like the special edition of the game or what have you, there was like an info book, and alongside of it, it came with what are Kim's stats.
Oh yeah, I asked that openly actually. I was curious about that.
He has 3 stats noted. One is called Volta Del Mar, which is unique to him, right? So it doesn't really matter.
Cool name.
Something you find out about later in the game. And the other are his authority and composure are at the utter maximum.
Okay. Interesting.
And somebody earlier today pointed out on the subreddit that the image for Half-Light is like a modified version of Kuno's portrait.
Oh, wow. Okay. I definitely didn't notice that. Interesting.
Right? And it's like, oh yeah, Kuno is just repping full Half-Light. Because he's crazy. Because he's nutso.
Fight or flight. Pure id. So yeah, we have a couple of moments that are absolutely brain melting on stream coming up for the channel, and I hope everyone enjoys. But I think we kind of effectively came to a decision at some point where it was thus, right? There are moments where there are content clicks, as you can say, you know, that lead to content. But you don't know when that's going to happen. Sometimes it'll lead to content. Sometimes it'll just be like, fuck you, right? And there are times when I want to know what those things are. Now, make no mistake, no matter what you do, you're always a coward, right? Because you chose... Any choice you choose means there's 3 you didn't, so you're a coward. But there are times when I want to know. And there are times when... it is like, okay, hold on a second. There is no way on God's green earth I would ever select this option and continue playing the game. Ever. I would never do that. But if we want to see what happens here, then I'm going to do that and see what the result is and then redo the conversation.
I'm going to be playing the game over again, and my next playthrough will probably be all the horrible shit that I was not going to pick on stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. So in our case, we're doing that, but depending on how it go, in most cases, like I'm gonna probably like just stick to the option if I'm, because it doesn't punish you most of the time, but you never know when you might miss out on something. You never know. It's impossible to know.
I would actually say I'm almost done. I have like 1 or 2 left to go, and the way that it seems to break down is that red checks, fail or not, just give you different outcomes, right? So like sneaking away is the best option, or trying to punch Kuno, right? It gives you a different sequence of events, right? White checks often are like did you talk to the kid outside the bookstore?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a composure check to deduct something about her, and like failing it gets you nothing. Passing it gets you additional thing and continuing of her story. And whether or not you want to have a situation where you abide by it and go, well, I just didn't complete that one, right? Even though I've like min-maxed and fucked around with my stats, I've passed most of the white checks at some point or another, and I've seen almost everything that I could see.
Yeah, I've been failing left and right. Almost everything we've rolled out, we've failed on.
My second stream, I failed every check.
Yeah. We're having a really awful go of it.
And I came away from it like, oh, fuck. And it, like, the luck of the draw will even out, and you will have stats you can pump and whatnot. Like, I had a series of miraculous runs on my third one. There might be some hidden juicing of numbers in there. But you can fail every check in the game, except for one, and complete it. Yeah. And the one that you must pass, as long as you keep doing the game, becomes, like, guaranteed.
Okay. Well, like, another way to put it, right, as it were, and I know that some people don't like this, but it's just, there are two choices. There's the path I'm going to pick, and then there's the path I would not pick. And if we want to see more and enjoy more of this game while I'm doing my path, we can, but those non-canon paths are going to get bites the dusted at the end of them.
I have a piece of advice for you.
Otherwise, we just don't click on them.
There's one really specific save scum that you're going to want to do, and that is the pass-fail on singing karaoke.
Sure.
You definitely want to see both the pass and the fail on singing karaoke.
And so we had another moment, and believe me, like, if you look at the way my choices have gone so far, the ones that I'm like the ones that I commit to because I'm making them, it's been like cursed dice. I can't believe how cursed. Like, we failed an 83%. I mean, it's fucking wild.
I failed at 97.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we're rolling on some absolutely committed fails and sticking with. But no, just anytime I'm like, no, I wouldn't go with that, but people want to see it and I want to, then like, yeah, sure.
I had a perception check that I had a +1 on from an earlier like I found a note about it, and perception is my core skill, and I had a perception of 10, and it was 97%, which is you can't go higher, and I got double snake eyes.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I had a couple where it was like 1 off. Like, I needed a 12 and I hit an 11. Shit like that, Fuck. But when they show you how much you fail by, it hurts a little bit more. But one of the greatest ones ever, and I couldn't, like, I'm so happy, I was like, okay, the whole thing about holding on to the stat in case you need it for holding on to the extra XP and then like dumping or whatever. I'm like, even then I'm just like, no, but there's stuff I want to hear. There's voices I want to hear now that we have not been hearing. And I fuck it. I don't care. That makes the game more enjoyable to me, right? And so there was a conflicted moment where it was like, okay, you have a point. This the hanged man check, right? There's literally a like go to the body and use your fucking
endurance.
Inland Empire to interact with the hanged man, right? And like it was like spend the point there because we were one away from what we needed, or spend it where I wanted to, which was my shivers, because shivers is my fucking like specialty stat, and I've heard it once, right? And it sucks because I'm like, damn it, like I'm really missing out on what I want of this stat.
Shivers tends to talk a lot when it does.
We had one experience with shivers in the game so far.
Yeah, you in order to hear them regularly, you have to get them up to 4.
So then I said, fine, here's what I'll do, right? I don't know what I'm going to get on this Inland Empire roll because I didn't know what the result would be. But I'm like, I'm going to try this out. And if it gets the roll we're looking for, then sure, we'll go with it. Because, again, like, there's a huge, like, no, go Inland Empire. But I'm like, I want my fucking Shivers stat. So I'm like, let me try and see what happens. And if it fails, then fuck it. I'm putting it in Shivers. And that's exactly what happened, right?
Yeah.
Inland Empire didn't work out. So I'm like, all right, dumping into Shivers. And the second I dumped into Shivers and took a step to the south, a prompt appeared. And it was Shivers monologue.
Yeah.
The one that just the city comes alive. And what's to every direction? What do you hear? What do you feel?
Yeah, that's a great
what
one.
do you see? Where the hood at? And then the fucking voice of Revachol kicks in. And, like, you hear that voice for the first time, and I'm like, that is the single best moment I've had in the entire game so far. Fuck what everyone says. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm doing what I want. I'm dumping into Shivers. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't, like, that's the...
Stat.
Like, I've never had such a moment of, like, the world is yelling to do something else, and I want this, and then I did that thing, and it paid off unbelievably.
It's pretty hard to botch that game, I would say.
Yeah. But I'm realizing that there's going to be probably humongous moments of the game I want to play being very different from the game people want to see. And this is one of those things where I'm like, I would have been upset if I missed that. And I found out about it later.
There are, you know what? I'm going to send you a list, like maybe 3 or 4 things of things that I wouldn't call them hidden, but they're not intuitive, that lead to gigantic scenes that you're going to want to check out.
Certainly. But like between the reward for that Inland Empire roll on the Hanged Man and that Shivers prompt, fuck the Hanged Man. Like nothing in the game hit me as hard as that moment did. So that just locks in.
It's a pretty good conversation.
I'm sure it was. I got it. We did it. I liked it. It was great. Right? But nothing compared to what I wanted from, because what I wanted from that stat was delivered on immediately. So I'm just like, yeah, no, this is it. We're playing this character going into the stats we built on, and like those are the voices I want to hear from. And it was it was so good.
The one thing that I noticed, I'm on like day 5 or 6 right now. And there is one thing that I'm like legitimately, absolutely fucking thrilled about, because it's a little detail that I couldn't believe the game kept track of. Where I was on day 5 and I was talking to somebody, and they remarked that despite my prior drinking escapades, that I had been pretty sober lately and looked a little better because in
Wow.
my game I have refused to take pills or speed or booze.
Wow.
And I was fucking thrilled
Interesting.
that the game acknowledged it, because it meant that I wasn't doing that as like a challenge or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I was role playing like, no, if I woke up with my brain scrambled that bad, I would not want to take a fucking drink. And my electrochemistry is in the toilet. I have almost none.
Yeah. No, it's a role-playing game. And, like, yeah, it's... I'm super curious to see... There's exactly, like, the playthrough you're having on your own, and the playthrough that Plague had on his own as well. Like, there's things here where I'm just like, yeah, like, stream aside, you know, like, I want to see what this version of the game would look like, you know? I absolutely can't wait to go back through and see what some of these lead to, especially if they're equally as rewarding in a completely different way, you know? It's yeah, we poured one out for the homies, so you know, didn't partake when the opportunity arose. So I don't know if what that'll lead to, but also, like, I didn't realize until now, or until like our last stream, that you could see your sheet with the stats of your choices.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because it wasn't there at the beginning of the game.
That got patched in?
No. When you say the stats with your choices, do you mean like the white checks that remain?
No. I mean Communism 9.
Yeah, you have to finish. Did you find your little blue book?
Yes.
It only shows up once you finish examining it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's your ledger.
You learn about yourself a little bit. Okay.
It's where you keep your stats.
Right, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that's what... Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I'm at like 40 communisms.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when your choices are that or fucking, you know, Sieg Heil, then, like, good luck, you know? But yeah, I'm looking at those numbers, and we're seeing what it nets, and it's quite interesting, because that'll, of course, then make sense with what thoughts you get prompted to. Although other times it's like, oh, did you put on those shoes? Oh, well, here's your new thought, my friend. You know, so it is funny how things get prompted in a way.
There's a stat in there that's like Kim's attitude. I think it's called cop points.
Oh, okay.
And it is a positive or a negative number, and that is if Kim likes you or not. Like, I have gotten to the point where Kim really likes me as much as he could, I assume.
Yes, but
I have been tanking dialogue options specifically because I don't want Kim to be mad at me.
Well, I was gonna say that if you want Kim to like you, then you're missing out on content, quote unquote, right?
But I love Kim.
Yeah, so this is the decision, and then you also go, well, what's gonna be, you know, what makes for good watching at the end of the day.
Hey, are you on the first day still?
Just finished. Just wrapping it up. Yeah.
So I have a tip for you. At 9 o'clock, you can go back to your room, and Kim will go, okay, good day. And then from 9 to about 11, most of the NPCs are still around, and what Kim doesn't know doesn't hurt Kim.
I see. Yeah.
So if you want to, I don't know, fucking shoot heroin on the street or sell drugs and not have Kim be mad at you, you could do that late at night.
I did notice that you can stay up late and kind of keep it going, but would those actions not lead to consequences with people that would then bring them up in his presence later on?
No.
Interesting.
There's one. Have you talked? Did you get the hangman down?
No.
Okay. There's one thing about the Hanged Man that you can do outside of Kim's presence that Kim may or may not like about you the next time you see him. But I have not run into any consequences of doing shenanigans late at night without him.
Okay.
I at one point tried to interview Kuno without him, and my detective was like, I don't know what to ask here. Kim would know what to ask.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so Disco Elysium. It's good shit. As you can see.
Great. That's an A+ video game.
I would say S.
I currently have one problem that I'll put it at S-. On day 4, the game's fast travel system breaks. It just breaks. Doesn't
For the
work
whole
anymore.
for the whole day?
Yeah, absolute. No, forever.
Oh. Damn.
Also, I don't know if you're playing with a mouse, right?
Yep.
I only learned this on my last stream. If you double click and hold left click,
You run.
you run and you just drag the mouse around and go wherever you want.
Yes, I learned that immediately.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
clicking a lot in those early episodes.
And there are times when clicking is like you don't have a like when you open up an apartment building in the lofts there, and like you can't really click on the floor to walk in because it's not there or it's all darkness. That's where WASD just lets you like take control.
Yeah.
You know,
And you've been mashing that tab button, I assume.
I've been holding right click actually, but they both.
Oh,
work.
that does it too. Okay.
Yeah. So,
How vital is that?
yeah, amazing.
As a feature.
Straight up, yeah. Highlight, see what you gotta fucking interact with. Good shit. Yep, over on Wooly Versus. There you go. Scheduled to be posted.
By the way,
week.
Wolves, I should let you know, that game's super long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, super duper long.
Yeah.
It's just a heads up.
I did my research before we started it.
Okay.
You know, and I mean it's also like it's currently in the quote unquote long game slot on the channel. Because you know, you want to have something that'll last. That's like some really amazing games are just really long and you can't get around it. So this is how we do it. And then, you know, there's room for faster rotations on other slots. Yeah.
I had an 8-hour stream of it the other night, and I had this moment of like, well, I've gotten to the final area, and there's only this many people to talk to, and I'm gonna do it. And then, not even fucking close. Not even fucking close.
Mm-hmm.
Like I ran into a tent that had 3 people in it, and spent what I feel like was like an hour and a half, just trapped in there. I mean, you spoke to Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is.
The game literally tells you to like, hey, come back later. You don't have to do this all in one sitting. You know, so yeah. No, that I can see. And thank God that clock only moves when you do things.
Yeah. Oh, and the time stops at 2 a.m. And at around midnight, NPCs start to disappear. And at 2 a.m. time is like stopped, but everyone's gone.
Okay. Anyway, let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
Can I take a quick word to my toilet?
You may.
Hooray.
BRB.
Oh, give me a break.
All right. We're
the
back.
The increasing number of mucormycosis cases, a fungal infection known as black fungus, has become common amongst COVID recovery patients.
Yeah, I was reading about that this morning. Black fungus.
That's the plot of RE7.
It's real. That's a thing.
I don't care for this.
They're seeing it over in India right now.
Go get your 5Gs, everyone. Hey, speaking of, I mean, we barely talked about it. Feels good to be a week into the 5G, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Just gotta wait for August. Surprisingly, so a couple, now that, a bunch of people I know have also gotten it, everyone's pretty much reporting back in that those halls are empty. It's very, very quiet.
What?
With going for the vaccination in Montreal, there's not a lot of, there's a lot of empty spots.
Well, good, because that means they're doing the thing where every week or couple days they move it down 5 years. I think they're at like 35-year-olds now. So it means they're getting everybody that wants to get it. Got it.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick word from our sponsors. This week, the podcast is sponsored by DoorDash.
Hey, DoorDash, what's up? I love you. You helped keep me safe during the 18 months that I've spent inside.
In fact, I feel as if even though there might come a time in the future when it will be possible to go acquire my meals in the old-fashioned way, I might continue to use this service due to my extreme chronic laziness.
I mean, yeah, it helps. Because I'm like, man, I should cook a nice meal. And then you just don't get up.
Yeah, you see the door. Because the DoorDash stat.
Continue to not get up.
The DoorDash stat successfully rolls and says, "No, you shouldn't. Dinner's on its way." And you're like,
cool.
"Oh, are you sure?" And it's like, "Yeah, it's all taken care of."
You know what I like to do? I like to take my DoorDash food out and put it on a plate, and then stand in the kitchen and be like, for a minute, and then be like, "Oh, look, I made this wonderful dinner."
You made
to
dinner.
myself. I did do it.
Yeah.
I did it.
You think the stat would have the voice of the ancient reptilian brain? Like, yeah, dinner's ready.
No. It would have the voice of the Noid.
Sure. But yes, this is the service. This is DoorDash. This is getting you dinner delivered straight to your door. You don't have to deal with your own nonsense if you're in the mood for anything. Chinese, pizza, froyo, whatever you want. All your local go-tos, all your chain restaurants that you enjoy. Everything around you can get you delivered, can get you your delivery. And you can also get snacks, drinks, and household essentials in 30 minutes with DoorDash as well. So not just your food. They got all kinds of stuff being covered.
I have absolutely used the grocery function to get toilet paper.
There you go. Same here. Yep. It's real.
Because I'm looking at the toilet paper I got, right? And I'm like, that's not going to cut it. I'm going to need to order more.
Press the button, have it brought to you. There you go. Yes. All of this is easy. You just open the DoorDash app, choose what you want, and you can have them safely delivered outside your door. Contactless delivery. Drop-offs is a setting you just pick. And yeah, we're covering, what is that? Over 300,000 partners in the US, Puerto Rico, Canada, and Australia. So you can continue supporting the places that you like thanks to DoorDash. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code CASTLE2021. That's 25% off up to a $10 value with zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code CASTLE2021. Don't forget code CASTLE2021 for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Thanks, DoorDash.
Thanks, DoorDash.
This week, the podcast is also sponsored by Honey, who we've described as the answer to that promo code bar that taunts you at checkout when you're buying stuff online.
Hey, what's the code? I don't know, man.
You're not good enough. You haven't earned it. You haven't made the right friends or become cool enough in the right circles to know what to put in that promo code. So you get nothing. You lose. Even though you're about to buy the thing you want. You're just like, it's a reminder of your station in life. You know? Well, not with Honey.
That hurts.
Yeah. See, because what Honey does is it searches the internet for all the secret handshakes and the special elbow rubs and bounces and everything that gets you up into high society that has the promo codes, and then they learn the secret promo codes whispered in their ears, and then they bring it back to you and they apply it to your cart so that you can save on what you're about to order. Just like that. All the savings of high society without having to actually be a part of it or get in there yourself, you know?
See, that's why all them environmental people are talking about saving the bees so they can get them discount codes with that sweet, sweet honey.
Yeah. It's like...
That made sense, right? Sure,
totally. It's like, what if you were, like, about to... like, I don't know, you're about to have a birthday cake, and you're like, I'm missing the icing. And then your friend's like, hey, I know where they got some icing, up in the castle over there. And then they sneak in, and then they, get past the guards, and then they, like, maybe, like, knock out one of them, put on the guard's uniform, and then they move along, and then they get into the party, and then they do the secret nod and they get into the back room, and then they put on the suit and tie, and then they mix in with the party, and then they steal some ingredients, and then they bring them all back to you, and then you get to enjoy without having necessarily earned those benefits the icing for your birthday cake. What? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, bees. Thanks, honey.
Shut up, that totally worked.
What are you talking about? That made no sense at all.
Over 17 million members had over $2 billion in savings.
Wow,
just
that's
like
a lot
that.
Of savings.
Just like that. So it's like a heist, except it's a heist that occurs on the checkout page. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. Free and installs in a few seconds, and by getting it, you're doing yourself solid support and supporting the podcast. You can get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/superbeast. That's joinhoney.com/superbeast. Thanks, Honey.
Thanks, honey.
Last but not least, we got a new sponsor over here.
A new sponsor?
Yes. Castle Super Beast Podcast is sponsored by HVMN. You see, it's kind of like the word human, but it's not. It's HVMN.
HVMN.
Yes, it stands for Health via Modern Nutrition.
Oh, okay.
So, as someone who has been on and off regularly doing a keto diet, this is the type of service that I I'm super happy to see exists, because when I first started trying to cut out the sugar and, get myself more, get myself a healthier diet, it was always pretty hard to like figure out exactly what fits into what. And you do, there's a lot of research to be done on this stuff, and in the end it was beneficial to my diet, but I've always wished that like it could be made easier. And yeah, basically this is a company that's making stuff for those types of reduced sugar diets that can help you out, and that's exactly what I need personally. If you are like me, you're possibly getting to that a step where you're like, okay, I'm going to track my intake, and you're going to take a look, try to count your calories a bit and see what's going on there. And if you're, just looking to even get a little bit less sugar in your diet, or if you want to kind of, I know personally for me, it was also at a point where I'm like, hey, I don't want to get into like that danger diabetic range for sure. So this is something that like was massively helpful. But yeah, HVMN is a nutrition company that basically they take the mystery out of counting macros. They say results-driven modern nutrition, less sugar than its competitors. So they make keto snacks and keto treats, and things that can help with that sort of lifestyle, as well as MCT oil and powders for like mixing into your coffee and things like that. I know that my general preference with coffee is taking it black with a little bit of MCT oil in there, that gives you the right fat macro count as well. And they also got keto food bars, which are pretty quick to grab, low sugar way to get yourself. There's chocolate flavor, vanilla shortcake, everything bagel. If you're kind of craving something a little carby tasting without actually getting carbs in your system, it's perfect for that. So, I'm definitely enjoying the benefits of getting the sugar out of my life, and this is the type of thing that I find really helpful. HVMN. You can take a look and see the flavors they have to offer, as well as the different mixtures of snacks and powders, and perfect things for nutritional lifestyle and healthy living. Right now, HVMN is offering our listeners an additional 10% off your first order when you go to hvmn.com/superbeast. Embrace healthy living today. Go to hvmn.com/superbeast for 10% off your first order. Once again, that's hvmn.com/superbeast for 10% off. Give him a shout. Check him out. Honestly, I'm constantly trying to figure out the best way to balance the amount of like fat, protein, and then carb and fiber intake, and it can get a little bit tricky. So anything that helps take your mind off of it, where you just get a quick snack to be like, okay, I got that part of my meal taken care of, will do wonders. So take a look at them, and tell them we sent you. So thank you, HVMN.
Thanks, HVMN.
Right.
Wooly, I'd like to apologize in advance, but it seems like I should have taken the dog out when I went to the bathroom, because baby is doing a big cry right now, and he needs to pee. So I will be back in a few minutes with an empty dog.
Okay. All right. So the news.
That Apple fucking trial is so fucking stupid. I love it.
I mean, what's even? There's dumb quotes popping up.
Oh, tons of shit.
Okay, all right, we can go. You can go there. That's fine.
There's all sorts of information coming out of it. More than 50% of Epic's Fortnite dollars are on the PlayStation, and iOS dollars was like 3% of their total fucking total shit. All the numbers for how much it costs to buy Epic exclusivity came out. And for like indie games, it's like 60 grand, and like for big AAA games, it's like $1 million.
Oh,
shit! Actually, much less than I thought it was.
Okay, I didn't see that report.
The numbers on what is the number, like what is the most played games on the Epic Store, and all of them except for Borderlands 3 are games that have been free at one time or another, and Fortnite doesn't even chart on the PC Store. Like in the top 20. Doesn't even chart. And like their weekly users is like 10 times less than Steam's like daily. Like,
wow.
The whole thing is just showing off like what an absolute shit ass waste of money the Epic Store is. It's unbelievable. They have also
I saw that the top 25 games actually. The top 20 games actually includes 25.
Yeah, it's wild. And there's all sorts of crazy shit where like Epic's lawyer comes out and says that the itch.io web platform is where all the sickest, creepiest porno games on the internet are sleazing about. And just the judge getting super pissed off because every like 10-15 minutes like some document comes out and like Nintendo or like Sony or like EA or whoever the fuck's lawyers just jump in and go, there's classified shit in that, you're gonna leak shit if you talk about it, and the judge is just like, what, stop it, like this is so stupid.
Yeah, wasn't there like something that indirectly led to them finding out about Nintendo's anti-crime, anti-Yakuza associations?
So there's Nintendo documents as part of like Epic's deal with Nintendo in there, and it is absurd. It is all blacked out, like it looks like a redacted CIA document, right? And you get to the bottom, and like the only part that is in there that remains is the Nintendo stipulates that you absolutely positively cannot do business with the Yakuza, and they list every rank of Yakuza member. you can't do deals with captains. You can't do deals with lieutenants. You can't do deals with sergeant. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Intimate knowledge. They know about the capos.
All I can think about is that is probably super old and is probably specifically in there because Sega and the Yakuza were so intertwined in the arcade business in the 90s.
And with the franchise itself, where Nagoya or whatever, Nagoshi was like blatantly admitting he was hanging out with them.
Like, I'm friends with crime mans.
We know these games are legit because we've had them vetted. Yeah.
It's wild. Everything about that Epic thing is a shit show. There's a goddamn quote from today where Epic and Apple's lawyers are trying to explain to the judge who the Fortnite character Mr. Peely is, and it's like, it's just a banana.
Apple lawyer: if someone were to say Fortnite creative is Barbie fashion designer for Fortnite universe, would that person would be incorrect? True? Wessinger: I'm not sure what goes on in Barbie fashion designer. Fair enough. Turns out the lawyer doesn't know either.
Yeah.
Sure.
Naruto and Samus are probably going to come to Fortnite. They're
Wow.
on a big splash page.
Wow.
That is like the funniest thing I've seen in a while, which is just full gigantic shots, like full page spreads of Naruto and Metroid, Metroid and Samus. And it says for lawyers' eyes only, very confidential.
Oh my god.
It's like all sorts of shit. But by far, did we talk about the Sony? We talked about the Sony thing last week. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Sony's crossplay thing.
But it's like, so like part of this like lawsuit over the V-Bucks and the extra charge and is basically resulting in a full profile breakdown of everything about Epic as a business and everything about Fortnite as a game and the entire structure of who it appeals to and how and why.
It's wild.
Like, I mean, these are fucking big ass expensive lawyers, so I'm sure there's a reason behind establishing all of this stuff, but it's just like, this is going into
so much awesome data
that like it's tangentially related to the original cause of the case, you know?
Yeah, but you got to go through all of it.
Wow. Well,
I hope they both lose super hard.
I mean, if it from the sounds of it, it's like Apple's lawyers are just continuously like, this is a stupid waste of time. Can we all agree? So yeah, I don't know. Whatever. If data like this comes out, it's fun. But yeah, I didn't. I'm like looking down. I'm scrolling through this thread of like moment to moment quotes and like it's so all of this shit is just getting into like stuff that has nothing to do with the original like dispute.
Absolutely nothing.
All right. Well,
please stop that.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, moments before we went live, the trailer for Venom 2 dropped. Let There Be Carnage.
Oh man, it looks super good.
See, for a second when I clicked play, I wasn't sure which movie's trailer I was watching. So I'm really glad that they made sure to bring back the quick reminder for the first 5 seconds to let me know that what trailer Venom now begins now Venom.
You know why that is?
That's what I need.
I believe what that is so that when you scroll over
yes,
it on mobile and it
of
plays
course.
the first couple seconds,
yes,
it gives you a preview of the whole thing.
Totally.
But it's still like, Jesus, come on.
Yes, it gives you the 2 seconds or 3 seconds to be like, hey, press the unmute button so you can hear this. But it's a part of the full like trailer that you go watch if you go watch it on YouTube or whatever. Like that extra little beginning 5 seconds is there, you know, and it's so stupid. But here we are. This is where we live.
Dude, that trailer looks terrible.
Yep, but guess what? So did the first trailer. It looks just as terrible. So that means it's going to be great.
Looks like bad.
Yep.
As Carnage.
It's going to be great.
And they're also the Carnage movie is going to be PG-13.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well.
And like, come on.
It looks like the sequel to a late 90s, early aughts superhero movie.
It looks like the third sequel to the Spawn reboots that never happened.
Sure. Exactly. Where Venom now is like got an attitude and he's kind of an affable character, and he's cracking jokes and Eddie's the straight man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
Fucking looks so bad, dude.
A world where Venom and Carnage are gonna fight, where Spider-Man is nowhere in sight.
Who's Spider-Man? What's a Spider-Man?
God, like, what if they, like, make a deal to borrow Tom for, like, the third one?
What are they gonna do? How's he suddenly gonna hate little Tom Holland so much that he changes his suit?
And then they have to go back to a world without him afterwards. It would just destroy the entire fucking franchise, I think. I don't know. That shouldn't exist to begin with, but here we are. Oh, man. No, they're going to try their hardest to make a Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man, is what they're going to do. You know, they're going to bring in...
Get it.
They're going to bring in the villains that aren't being used by the Holland verse. And they're just, it's going to continue to be this locked in the mid-aughts franchise. Fuck it. Go for it. Morbius is coming.
Is it? I've been hearing Morbius has been coming for like 15 years.
No, you haven't. Stop lying.
Yeah, I have.
No one talked to you about Morbius.
I'm going to type in Morbius. No, I'm going to type
Not
in
a
Morbius,
single person talked to you about Morbius.
Movie. I'm going to find it.
No one told... Not a single person you've ever met told you Morbius is coming. No one said that. That's a lie.
Oh, no, it's Jared Leto again?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Doesn't he have a cult to run?
He does. And I think he calls it not a cult.
That's what all my favorite cult leaders call their cults. If I started a cult, it would be called Totally Not a Cult.
No, No. I think the name of the cult is not a cult. Like, I think that's literally what he did.
That's super good. Yeah, that's good. That's smart.
So
now people know it's not a cult.
Mm-hmm. You and Jared Leto on the same level of ideas.
That's right. Give me a movie and then cut me out of it. I wonder how it feels to be like, I'm a Hollywood actor. It's like, oh, cool. What have you been in recently? The past couple movies I've been, they edited me almost entirely out of all of them.
But don't worry. Morbius is coming.
The Morbius. Watch them edit him out of Morbius, even though he's the main character.
I am excited for Carnage. I'm excited to see how completely fucking forgettable this all can be. But if the jokes are terrible and they lean into it, then I'm gonna love it. So it's fine. Just embrace it,
man.
Embrace it.
I don't know. Morbius is coming, guys.
Like, I legitimately liked how fucking dumb fucking Venom was. So I'm if they just keep down that road, let's go. Let's take it. You know? It's a different angle. Like, Shazam went the other way with it, where they're like, we're low key, we're lower budget, we don't have the pomp and circumstance of the main characters, so let's just stick to this fucking mall battle, you know? And then Venom was just like, what if we never left the era of Ang Lee's Hulk? You know,
man,
what if we still lived in the era of Ang Lee's Hulk and Blade Trinity? That's what Venom is. It's
Carnage should have like an Evanescence-backed soundtrack.
That's good. It's good. Mm-hmm.
That's what it should have.
Mm-hmm.
But not Bring Me to Life.
No,
because that's Daredevil's song.
Yes. Another one.
A different one. The other one they sang.
Or whatever the modern day Evanescence equivalent would be.
What is that? No, it can't be modern. It has to be old.
Wait, yes, true. Correct.
My Immortal, that's the one. Or Tourniquet. Yeah, fuck it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, speaking of sequels, Lost Judgment is confirmed for September 24th.
Have you seen the box art for this game?
Unfortunately, I have. And it sucks Because now there is a clear line between those who have been around on the internet and those who have not. And I don't think that the artists and the planners knew about American early internet culture, but if you're of a certain age, this box is ruined. In fact, I would go ahead and say that the entire gesture of hands wrapped around something, prying them open, is forever ruined.
Ruined.
Yeah. Children, you must have. It's too popular to not have heard of Goatsy. The kids must have heard of the Goatsy.
What? No, not the kids. Kids don't know about that shit.
Like, no one really talks about it anymore, but it was so fucking omnipresent. You have to possibly know.
That reminds me.
Oh my god, they don't! They don't know about Goatsy!
Justin
wow!
Fucking talking about his TikTok entry.
No?
Did you see that shit? So Justin Wang, TikTok was doing this thing. It's like, hey, we want to support Asian creators. Send us your TikToks. And Justin has a TikTok account, obviously, and he makes a lot of good YouTube videos. So he goes, yeah, I don't know what happened. TikTok deleted my submission. Here's what it was. And his submission is him like going, hey, I'm Justin Wang. I do a lot of cool videos and I'm an Asian content creator. Here's the kind of videos that I make. This is the one about the guy who spreads his butt real big. This is the one about the guy who put the jar in his butt and the jar broke.
One
this
guy,
is
one
about
jar.
the guy who ate his foot. This is about the guy who ate a baby. And it just goes on for like a full minute. He's like, I don't know why TikTok deleted this. I don't know why they're not supporting me.
I mean, did he do it while he was dancing?
No.
Maybe he should have been dancing.
Maybe he should have been dancing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Ancient internet horrors, it's the legacy. It's the Mount Rushmore. It's on the Mount Rushmore of internet fucking horrors,
Yeah. He gets it real wide. It's impressive.
Yeah.
I remember when, like, an interview eventually happened with Goatsy, and it was like, hey, why do you do that? He's like, I like spreading my butt. Spread it real big. Put stuff in it. It's like, wow, that was exactly as simple as I expected it to be. There's ironically no depth to this at all.
It also, like, I remember when it was being used as in the way that Rickroll is used, like, to, like, fake a link to anything.
Yeah.
Nowadays, when you get oh, here's the link to what you're looking for, and you end up with Rick Astley, like, that's a blessing. You are lucky.
That's a sigh of relief.
It almost always, invariably, was Goatsy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Go figure it out,
So
kids.
now,
go learn internet history.
Our brain's AI algorithm pattern recognition sees any two hands with any center hole or lane or whatever, and goes, Yagami there's climbing out a butthole.
Before Loss, there was the two hands that you could edit onto any circle, any fucking hole of any kind.
Yeah. There it is.
Well, anyway,
I remember when it was straight up in BioShock. And like there's like the great chain, and it's like,
and the hands are pulling it apart. Yep,
it's just like that is just straight up a butthole.
Yep. Well, anyway, how did we even get here?
We're going to Yokohama in Lost Judgment.
There we go. And they're specifically sticking with the action style combat while saying that Like a Dragon will continue in the RPG form. So Judgment is now the action beat 'em up,
punchy kicky,
and Like a Dragon and Yakuza goes full RPG forever.
Makes sense. This is what a lot of people assumed what would happen.
If Judgment continues to be a thing going forward with like more than one or two games, then like you actually have two places to go for your fucking, you know, your choices of whether you want it old school or new school.
This is actually like super fantastic because Yakuza is a yearly or like almost yearly series.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to cut down on that feeling of repetition a lot, because it'll be like 2 years between RPG games or 3 years between RPG games, right? Instead
Also,
of here's another one.
Mm-hmm. If they go that if they turn Judgment into a long running thing, you know, which I assume they would like to, if it's successful.
If they're doing a second one, they'll milk it till it's dead.
And there's room for, I guess, a serious, you know, tone version of these things. So yeah, sure.
Yeah, Judgment was notably much more serious than the most Yakuza games.
Because your protagonist is like doesn't leave room for fucking around.
It still had some zany, but like by and large, like Judgment was much more serious than Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon's fucking clown shoes.
Though it is true that because this is based on a real actor, like they might hit a weird point in the future of like this guy's face being a problem for them in terms of money.
Just as long as oh no, money's not the problem. Whether or not he loves drugs, that's the problem.
That could also be the problem. Because yes, could you imagine the entire franchise disappearing from store shelves overnight?
I would love to see a news article that was like the entire cast of the game got caught at a party ripped. And they're like, shit, delete the game from the like, just cancel it. Just cancel it all. We can't replace them.
Okay, what celebrity getting caught with the nose candy would do the most damage to being bamfed out of existence of Japanese markets? Beat Takeshi?
Give me a second.
Would Beat Takeshi getting caught on the coke and having all of his shit erased do the most damage? Because you're wiping out all of his roles.
No.
And his directorial fucking.
Okay, there's a couple
work.
There's a couple ones, right? You could say Araki, right?
No way, no, dude. I'm talking about mass fucking billboard level
All right.
popularity in Japan.
My first one would be like
Gact is pretty, yeah. Gact, but Gact has come and gone many times, and also Gact has
he'll make you come and go too.
Yeah, sure. Gact also has a bunch of shit on his name already. He's been accused of some fucking heinous shit. So
honestly, the first one that jumps to mind is Hiroshi Fujioka.
Who dat?
That is Kamen Rider.
Okay. Yes, that would be big.
And Sekata Sanshiro.
Yep, that would be big.
And so on and so forth.
Miyazaki would be unfucking salvageable. I made all
those movies small. High on crack.
Oh my god, Miyazaki. No, that's it. No. Miyazaki's the one. Because that would absolutely, like, that's an international thing. But, like, yeah, the entire concept of Ghibli becomes a problem overnight.
My Neighbor Totoro was based off a fucking acid trip with my friend's cat.
That is the one. Yeah. Japanese Walt. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I mean, if Tomino got in trouble, they'd still just make Gundam without him. They did continue, if
Ano got in trouble, everyone would be like, yeah,
whatever, you know. Yeah. But no, like, that would be probably the most damaging one.
What if they
my Dealer Totoro.
what if they cracked open Kurosawa's coffin? It's just nothing but PCP.
Everything inspired by Akira Kurosawa now has to go. Oh man, yeah. It's so stupid. It's the stupidest, and you set yourself up for it with these dumb fucking like nonsense double standards.
Well, I think we all know what is actually happening is that if you hit a certain level of bigness, you can just shoot heroin in front of the prime minister, and you're important enough that they'll just make it go away instead of having a big scandal.
This is also true. But if it ever goes the viral video route, like it leaks on Nico Nico somehow, you know,
Oh man.
then you can't pull that back. Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, anyway, Judgment is coming with the sequels down the pipeline.
Looks like we're going to Yokohama in general.
Sure. I am down for the continued photorealistic recreation of various major cities, and then the eventual bringing together the eventual merging of all of these into a future game where you can just get on a train, a Shinkansen, and just walk through a major fucking recreation of every major city in Japan.
Yeah, that happens every now and then. Like, Yakuza 5 was that. Like, there were a lot of towns in Yakuza 5.
And everyone's going off with the alternate titles, yes. The insert Ghibli film plus drug. Other things going down. Speaking of RPGs, did you see? You probably did. I'm learning a lot about MMO culture, and one of the things I learned was about attractive action MMO traps.
Yeah.
The Vanshee is
Black
the
Desert's
latest.
a really good example of that, actually.
The Vanshee is the latest game that has been teased out from China. It's another gorgeous looking super actiony trailer preview game that it looks like you're looking at like a fucking DMC style thing. The character swinging around a scythe in a Nero-esque way, and it turns out it's an MMO. And what I found out is that there's a number of games here where apparently they lead you in with a whole lot of what looks like single-player action combo, high-octane, gameplay. And then it turns out it's a free-to-play absolute grind fest that steals your money, or at the very least, like makes it ridiculously long or expensive to actually get anything worth your time.
Yeah, that's Black Desert in a nutshell. Black Desert has a really good example of this because I was talking to some friends of mine. I was talking about this to my FF14 gang or whatever, and we all had the exact same experience with Black Desert, where we downloaded it and we're like, "Hey, we're gonna take a look at this," and we start it up, and then we see the interface of like the in-game interface, and we go, "I am out of here." I'm gone.
What tipped you off?
It's terrible. Some things are too big, some things are too small. There's things dead center in the middle of the screen. Like, everything's a fucking mess.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that, like, something about it indicated its grindiness.
No, you can just tell. You just immediately tell where the attention went. And yeah, these games tend to be awful.
So, something that people have shown me over time, and I've seen a bunch of footage of, is like, the there's a character in Phantasy Star Online 2 that is just like a Virgil like clone. It just straight up, Beowulf and Yamato and launchers and round trips and like literally just identical. But it's like you're like, oh, okay, in an MMO context you can do big actiony things, but it's like it's not super impressive. It's like it's all right, but it wasn't like I wasn't like, oh my god, I wasn't blown away by it when I saw it. I thought it looked, I was like, that's pretty cool, but yeah, I can see what you're doing, and but like there's definitely things about it that were like, yeah, that looks a little like a budget version, I guess, of what you're trying to copy there in some ways. The 3-second GIF of the Vanshee that like I retweeted at some point last week was one that also seemed to look like, show me a HUD here because this almost looks like it could be a fucking fake rendered video, and then the trailer cuts to some other like in gameplay moments, again HUDless, but like the way that the mob is responding and the way characters are getting launched and tossed around and stuff is like a much higher quality approximation of what I guess that PSO2 comparison was going for in a way. So pretty it's a Korean, my mistake, okay, it was a Korean game, pretty MMO thing, but I didn't know about, I knew about Black Desert, but I didn't know about any of the others that apparently have come and released
it's a whole thing,
have been ignored because of this massive grind trap problem.
So those games have a really, really good advantage to something like WoW or 14 or your more traditional or more successful MMO. Mm-hmm. And that's because they have the fancy action combat with all the particles. They demo really well. They demo real good.
Okay.
Because you throw a demo out and you go, you're going to go on a quest. And they make good trailers. And then you go to play them. And you play the combat, and the combat's not as deep as you thought it was, and the rest of the game sucks.
Project Barbecue, yes, that was another one. Okay, yeah. No, it's not as deep as you thought it was. Now, I guess my question is like, when you do eventually spend the time to get to what the demo was showing you, does it become fun then? I
have not had fun with any of these, but I have not given them much of my time. I already have my MMO of choice, and it's a good one, and I like it.
Like if a GM could just show up and speed level you up to unlock all of your combat options, would it be as cool as the demos look? Like would you be having
I have no
something
idea.
Worth looking at? Because that's what's kind of like curious to me. It's like, hey, all this rad shit you see, it takes you 1,000,000 years to get it, or a lot of money, and it's like, oh, that sucks.
Or that stuff's cool, but all the other stuff, like MMOs are really complicated. Like encounter design is bad, or the enemies don't support the combat system that you have, right? Or what have you. There's a reason why the most successful MMOs tend to have like simple hotbar based combat, is because you can build a lot around them. I mean, that's my opinion, obviously, but
yeah, I mean, ultimately, like, every time I take notice of something like this, it's likely because it's like, here's something that like is not really purely an MMO. It's another genre of some kind that's working in with that's like working in MMO elements of some kind. Like Warframe is a pretty cool example of like something that it works in MMO aspects into something that moment to moment isn't necessarily an MMO.
Yeah, if you wanted to play a proper action MMO, I would point you at Phantasy Star, and I would say that is the only place to go.
That's the best you're getting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and at a glance, I mean, I was like, yep, Phantasy Star. I'm like, I thought it was all right. You know, I wasn't like going holy shit over the combos and combat that I saw.
There's somebody in the chat who points out you do beautifully animated things in Black Desert that don't actually matter because you're fighting a sponge and their attacks don't matter. Which that kind of sums it up. It's like if you have like this cool flashy combat system, but you're fighting like Dynasty Warriors trash exclusively. You know, like.
Well, I hope that the single player games we've seen trailers for are not going to suffer from any of those problems.
I think those have a much better shot.
Yeah. There's I don't know what to call it, but there's just this new wave of like new Asian action games that are just on the horizon, and like there's like maybe 10 of them at this point that are all like super duper pretty and super fast paced.
One of them will come out.
I mean, I have the most faith in probably Lost Soul Aside, simply because of its origins being like one dude on his own, regardless of like funding or a studio behind him, you know? Like, you know, that one was a passion project from a guy that was putting out footage of it like years ago, as opposed to, let's say, like a studio that was put together of a number of graduates from a certain school for the specific goal of like entering this market and you know, challenging, I don't know, whatever, FF or something like that, you know? And I expect them all to have a complete nonsense sequence of story beats that just don't make sense.
Yep.
What the fuck was it? So I got linked to a there was a new anime as well that super high octane, again, like I think it's like a Chinese mythology thing that has like Trigger-esque battles and at some points, like ridiculous explosive particle things and whatnot. It was wild. It was God, I forget the name of it, but I think Min sent me a link to it and I checked it out, and it was like one of these things where you're just like, okay, well, the pretty fights are pretty, these characters are saying things, and like the story couldn't be any less of a thing, you know, but here for the action.
Honeypots.
Yeah, definitely. I don't remember the name, unfortunately. It was not a game. It was an anime. It was a YouTube video, where it was
God of High School.
Not God of High School. No.
Okay. I tried.
Like there were literal like Sasuke versus Naruto clashes going down at some point in it. Whatever. Anyway. Fog Hill of the Five Elements, that's the one. Fog Hill of the Five Elements, yep.
Oh, I think I saw some of that.
Just looking through it, and like the most non-fucking story there's ever been, followed by explosive, you know, high frame Sakuga. So that's Judgement. And then we got news of not Judgement, Vanshee. Yeah. And then in that same vein with online play, Riot will start recording Valorant voice chat to root out toxic players.
So I saw this and was like, what the fuck is going on? Only to be told that tons of games already do this.
Really?
Yeah, apparently Rainbow Six Siege does it.
So the announcement was that they were going to start recording all voice chat for the purposes of moderation. And your only choices were to opt in or not, or to have voice chat disabled.
Right.
So this is something that Rainbow Six already does. Interesting. Okay. Well, at the sounds of it, you understand the desire for them to figure out new tech to try and weed out, toxicity and such. But recording every voice chat is a pretty extreme solution.
Sure is. And for real, though, there's one way to curb toxicity in your games that helps a lot. And that's not have the game be free.
That's true too, but that doesn't work with the model of
because
making money here.
Who know and want to be fucking toxic will always come back. Because that's what they want to play. They want to play toxic.
But the free-to-play makes the money. It's the model that works, and it makes so much money that it's not worth it to not make it free-to-play. So that don't work.
Yeah.
You need something else to sort that out. To me, my mind went to, can we just continue down the path that Apex started with an extremely elaborate ping system?
And not let you talk. No,
can we take the ping system to the next level and start putting together ideas and concepts in a Souls message-like way? Maybe it would be a problem because it would be like, in the heat of battle, you can't select 3 words. But I don't know. I want there to be a way to fucking annihilate the need for this entirely.
There's no way to fix this. If people want to be bad, they're going to be bad. Now, this isn't me talking about real life laws or whatever. I'm just talking about in our video games. When Rainbow Six Siege said, hey, player killing is a problem. We need to do something about player killing. If you kill another player on your team, you're going to get kicked. The very first thing that happened is you had dudes sprinting in front of dudes' guns so that they would get killed and the other player would get fucking auto-kicked. Like, that was instant.
Yeah, so I see an opinion, not just here, but like one that pops up too in the discussions about this entire thing, which is just let people be toxic. And to be honest, it's like, you can do that if you want, but if a company, like if someone makes a game and then wants to stop that from happening to discourage people from like sticking with the game because this is a problem that turns away new players, and I don't see a problem with that.
Riot looks at this and goes, man, we could make so much more money if the very first thing new players encountered in voice chat wasn't somebody screaming a bunch of fucking racial tirades at them. That's a bad first impression. People don't want to play that game.
If the person making the game doesn't care and just and pretty much goes, yeah, anything goes, it's just meant to be Wild West, then fine. That's fine. That's fair too. You can do what you want with that. But if they decide to take efforts to curb it, I get it. It makes sense because, it would absolutely leave a bad first impression. But you get to do what you want with your game, That's my point.
Yeah, I have to say, though, in the Valorant aspect specifically, hearing, Riot is going to take a big stand against toxicity in games by recording all your conversations is like, how about you guys start at the top?
Right.
The same motherfuckers that are doing the bad touch on their secretaries and not letting people get promoted are going, we really gotta get the toxicity out of quick play. We gotta do something here.
It's like the person who's trying to the person who's trying to figure out how to mute the no words is also still got a fart from their CEO blasted in their face that they're smelling.
So. Like it's like fucking Sega of Japan's Nagoshi says there's too much of the criminal element in the business of video games. Right? Like, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
But still, these it's interesting to find out that this already exists, because I had no idea that games are already using this tech. And yeah, I maintain that, whoever makes a game can fucking do whatever they want to deal with what they would perceive as an undesirable user base, like people that come in and on average make the experience worse for others. If you look at a player like that and go, this will hurt our bottom line, then you can fucking get rid of those people, especially in a free-to-play context, because there's less of a ground to stand on if you just made an account, jumped in, and then started making demands,
Also, I don't think there's any punishment you could leverage against a shit-headed 12-year-old that would make them stop being toxic.
No, but it is worth it when we get to see them angry posting on the cheat forums about how their brother's going to kill them.
Dude, that is pretty good.
Everyone just feels really good when they read those. So just make everybody feel good,
Oh.
It's drugs. It's like it's crack right to the brain, It's beautiful. It's a thing. It's wonderful. You don't get it often enough.
This discussion and the topic of cheating in games, all that, it's so inflammatory that it makes me want to be toxic. It makes me want to say shit like, yeah, just hook up every player's nuts to a fucking car battery, and if they get toxic, they get a little zap, right? Now you can't do that. That's wrong, right? But the emotion of I just want to punch that shit-headed kid in the face who's screaming at his mom for milk, right? I just want to smack that fucking little bitch. Like, fuck that kid. Punch him right in the face.
Wait, are we talking about, just a baby that's hungry?
No. No. It was a somewhat famous kid playing Halo. It was 10 years old, just screeching at their mother at the top of their lungs.
Okay.
Mom, I want some fucking milk.
Okay. Jeez,
no, not like an infant. No.
I'm like, where is this going?
What's an infant doing playing Call of Duty?
I don't know, but you went for an example that I wasn't familiar with, so then you said child crying for milk, and I'm like a baby? I don't. Yeah, all right, sure.
If you really want to fucking get rid of toxicity, really have people have to sign up with a credit card and require to be 18 years old.
Definitely, 100%, yeah.
And then if they fucking shit off, then you ban the credit card.
I support recording a voice chat for people that get banned for cheating and shit right after they get banned, then turn the recording on, right? And then record everything that they say for the next 10 minutes and then automatically upload that.
Call of Duty Warzone, the Battle Royale, that's a feature. When you kill people, there's a feature where you can turn their mic on, and you'll hear the last 10 seconds of their life as you kill them. And when I streamed that, I couldn't turn it off fast enough.
Just the toxicity enabler.
Yeah, that is absolutely. I want more toxic. Give it to me. Which is great, honestly, as a toggle. That's super good. But as somebody who was streaming that game on Twitch, couldn't turn it off fast enough. Holy shit.
Toxicity is not the same as cheating, of course, but those cheat logs, that That's
they're
my
so
electrochemistry.
Oh,
You
they're
know?
good.
My
I love
electrochemistry stat goes up on those, man.
It's like I got my brother's StarCraft account banned. What am I gonna do?
I kept losing. I just wanted to see what it was like.
Yeah.
I just wanted to try it out.
You know, this whole thing about free to play and banning and toxicity has resulted in League has this really bizarre problem with their matchmaking system, where the absolute ass bottom ranking is way tougher than the ones above it because it's where all the Smurfs live.
Right above bottom?
No, bottom is the like I don't have the exact numbers, but it's like you know, bronze 3 or whatever
Smurf
is
rank,
the
yeah.
equivalent of like top silver because it's all Smurfs.
Funny. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, no real way to fix that problem, huh? Like you can't
Yeah, no.
nothing you can do. Except for like catch on mid game that's like, hey, you know way more about what you're doing than you seem to.
You're too good. Banned.
Get out of here. In fact, your playstyle is very similar to this ID over here.
So against FF14 is actually like, I think it's too moderated, like in many cases. There's a lot of times when there's like little things that people get banned for, but like you can't get rid of this motherfucking gold seller that's been here for 3 weeks. But one of the rules that I think is actually pretty smart is you got to be 18 years or over to play that game. Just straight up. You got to be an adult. You're not allowed to be a minor.
Yeah. It's just, again, all of these very practical and helpful situations that remove the guck from your player base also remove the money.
No, here's what it is. I got it. I got the solution. It will help a little. Okay. When you sign up for League of Legends or Valorant, they ask you if you have an older sibling that's at least 2 years older than you. And if you say yes, they ask for that sibling's phone number, and you put it in. And then if you get banned, they text your older sibling and say, "Hey, your younger brother or sister's a shithead. You have one free pass to stomp their legs."
What if there was
Show your mom this note. She'll say it was cool.
What if there was an MMO that was like invite only, and whoever you give invites to is like they suffer a penalty if you're not cool. Like if you suck, then they take a hit. So the reputation is all linked together. What if you know?
That is a thing.
So you bring in a bunch of toxic assholes, and now you're the problem.
Wait a second. Wooly,
MMO social credit.
Chinese social credit system?
MMO social. No, because in China, the Chinese social credit system is not an opt-in, opt-out situation. It's an opt-in, opt-in. But in this case, it's if you want to play, you could always just not play. But if you do want in, then you're tied to somebody, and the way you act might affect them. You know, might affect their account.
I played a game once in which that was actually the case, where you could invite friends in, and it would be some kind of bonus. But if your friends got hit with like bans or violations, it would reflect on your account. But I can't.
Wow!
I legit can't remember what it was.
That'd be crazy. That'd be so nuts, dude. Like, yes, you ruined it by bringing shitty people in. You fucking pay for the sins of the father. You know, damn. A hierarchy. Yeah, who knows?
What happens? Like, how far does that cascade up?
Well, the hit you take, the person who invited you takes a much minor hit. but then it goes at least 3 degrees up from the person who gets kicked. But in order for it to work as an incentive, because otherwise you just never invite anybody, there needs to be a really lopsided reward for bringing in people and successfully, you know?
Yeah.
So it needs to be like 5 times better of a reward for bringing in someone good
you get a phone call.
The punishment.
Like, hey man, all your friends are shitheads.
Yeah.
Why'd you bring them here?
MLMMMO.
This is terrible.
Pyramid RPG. Let's do it. At the end of the day, it's like, okay, but then just stop playing if you don't want to participate. It's a fun game, but just say no. Just don't play it then if you don't like it. I'd be curious.
I wish I was a GM. I would ban so many people. I would ban people for nothing. I would do it. It would be so good.
Speaking of banning people for nothing, the average consumer will be banned from getting a PlayStation 5 at least until 2022.
Yeah, there's a sub-story to this in which, like, a Taiwanese newspaper is reporting that Sony's looking at, like, a revision of the PlayStation 5 that would not come out until before this, which is, like, that means that, like, the PS5 revision or Slim or whatever the fuck would literally come out and still be impossible to find. I actually complained about the shortage of video cards and whatnot recently, and was contacted by somebody who knows more than I do, because I believe my stance was, I don't get what's going on, just put more electricity juice into the PlayStation robot and make more consoles. Right? Mm-hmm. Just do the more. And I received a message, why don't they make more factories in response to the semiconductor shortage? I work for a major manufacturer and everybody else uses. They're totally opening new factories. Don't tell anybody about this. It's very secret. I could lose my job. The factory is just being set up. The buildings are completed years and years and years ago. But it just takes forever. Like, they decide to build new factories, and they go... Sorry, that message just... That sounds like... Don't say that? I didn't read anybody's name. I didn't name any companies. I didn't name any specific factories. Relax. Regardless, the point is that when demand goes up, it takes like a decade to build a new factory. Okay. Well, so demand's been up for multiple years. You know, I mean, that problem in and of itself, alongside the microchip shortages and the aggressive tech future of that we are trying to scale up successfully and failing horribly at doing, none of that stops the scalpers who will still interrupt and destroy this process at the consumer level, whether or not they make the demand in worth of whether they match the supply and match the demand with supply doesn't matter if a scalp bot is going to intercede and be a third party in between the sale. So scalping is the bigger problem, in my opinion. People would have had a shot at these consoles if the scalpers didn't step in. The issue isn't supply, it's artificial demand. So that's a bigger thing to fix than the actual production, I would say. So it's everyone's responsibility to call your local scalper and set up a meet to buy a PlayStation 5 that you do not intend to go to. While that might work
The other thing would be to encourage the online retailer to put a better cart in place.
Yeah, that's really all it is. I mean, eventually, Nvidia and them started to do some of that with their video cards. It's still a mess, but at the very least, they're not like stealing them out from underneath the cart system anymore.
Yeah, so that's the actual headline: is PS5 shortages continue into 2022.
I got one.
Fucking
I had to pull some shit to do so.
I mean, launch shortages on consoles have happened with each of the last major ones, but like over a year though. Has it been over? Has they have? Has
the Wii was like 2 years. The Wii was ridiculous.
The Wii was a big that was a big ol' unexpected mainstream hit because of the Wii Sports. It's true. That became mainstream fucking Good Morning America segments and get it for Christmas things and whatnot, you know. Yeah, so that's continuing for the rest of the year. And last, they just announced that, hey, Umbrella is coming to Skullgirls second Encore. So, second piece of new DLC dropping. Game continuing to get characters. And Umbrella is a lore bit that was introduced a while ago. And there was that comic of Umbrella eating the sad ice cream. That was
it's cool that Skullgirls is getting new characters.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Not this one though.
Umbrella is not my favorite from that list of potentials. However, it's cool that she's getting in there. Parasol's little sister. And
one of the biggest losers off that list.
But also one of the characters that, like, lore-wise was, like, around without being playable in a lot of ways. You know? So, yeah. No, I get it. Panzerfaust one day.
One day.
Maybe even Andy.
I think the reason why I dislike that character so much is she just looks like a shittier version of an existing character. What if you took Parasol and made her look like shit?
So I don't think that's what it's going to be. There's a description of what her gameplay synopsis is. Small character, big swings. Hungern is her umbrella. Limited movement options. Let's see. Hungern has a hunger meter, and the hunger level increases as the match goes on. It'll influence move properties. If he's starving, normals are slower.
Well, that sounds like Sin.
Sin has the feeding thing, the eating thing. Though it might not be as direct, moves that involve devouring the opponent get stronger. If Hungern is overstuffed, moves that involve him conjuring something from the depths of his stomach may have bonus effects. Ravenous is another state that you can be in. So basically, you can manage the hunger level to get different properties on her attacks. Yeah. So looks like she is going to be dropping in a beta form in sometime this year. And then Q3, I think, is when they're expecting. No, Q4 is the full release, excuse me.
I feel so torn about Skullgirls. Man, because that's a good game. I just wish I liked any of the characters in it.
You like Big Band and you like Beowulf.
I like Big Band. I think Beowulf is cool. I don't like to play Beowulf.
Well, yeah. We got probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, a Panzer and Brain Drain, maybe even. Big old prison horn demon girl, and
let me go look at
Molly. I think there's a bunch of winners on that list.
What would I look up? DLC characters or Kickstarter? Indiegogo?
Yeah, I guess Kickstarter characters. Yeah, I guess that'd be it.
I mean, they weren't on Kickstarter, but like that big
the big art. Yeah, is huge. Right? That should be a poster in and of itself. They should sell that poster.
Open image, a new tab. Okay. All right. The next character will be the stupid little kid with the 2 plungers, because it's the or Hive, because they're stupid. Made sure to pick the stupidest, ugliest characters out of this giant list.
Hey, I think Annie was fine. I think Annie was a fine pick.
You can think that if you want.
Black Dahlia would be rad with the fucking with the gun. Playable Marie, might not be that exciting. Miss Victoria could be a fun little bonus.
I actually think it's crazy that Marie is not a character that you can play as. I think that's nuts.
Like, she's kind of just...
Oh, like, wow, yeah, I got the whole list here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fang the plunger girl. Yeah.
Eliza's cool. She got
Scythana, that's our jailbird Cody horn girl. Definitely down for that.
Yeah,
Panzerfaust.
And Beowulf's cool. He got in.
Roxy's fucking rad looking. We can do it.
You know, liked us, they would want to put in Panzerfaust or like Black Dahlia, but no, the 2 generic looking tiny girls that have no personality that suck.
Oh my god, dude.
No. That is all I have to say to that statement.
Tiny girls, no personality. Boo. Wop wop.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Anyway, Annie's pretty great.
Really, Andy, he's a fucking anvil with boxing gloves.
Juju, number 13, that'd be cool as well. I'd be down for that. Yeah, it's a potential cast of winners, man. There's some fucking rad ones on this, but
don't worry, you'll never get any of the good ones.
I don't know. I feel like we might. And even if we did, it's not like you'd decide to start playing it anyway.
Maybe I would play it if it had more than one character I like to play.
Fair enough. If you got an email, you can send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. It's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. Let's take some. We got one coming in from... Dalton says, Horf, dear Hit Spark and Barf Barf, what series has the best heavy-hitting sound? Tekken or Virtua Fighter?
Oh, definitely Tekken. I love Virtua Fighter dearly, but like Virtua Fighter sounds like a fucking fake-ass video game arcade game.
So some of them are like the sound of Akira's Tetsuzanko is pretty cool and heavy-hitting.
Yeah.
But the sound of Jackie's flash kick and the sound of bodies hitting the ground is very fucking cardboardy.
Yeah.
You know, the whoosh of the flash kick is like, yeah.
The sound department of Virtua Fighter is like hilarious. Like it's stuck in the mid-90s.
Yeah, Tekken has some good knock sounds on it. But overall, neither of these two I would go to as like some of my favorites though. For sound effects,
I think the crush counter sound from Street Fighter V is actually fantastic.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah. I like the glass breaking sound that like SNK does in some of their super sparks and things like that. Like I like a good, like glass shatter imagery or sound. But I would.
You know what?
Mm?
You know what my favorite is?
Mm?
My favorite hit sound effect
Mm-hmm.
is like a bored Japanese lady going counter.
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 KO.
Oh man, some of those
Yeah.
Arxis games are just like fucking oh my god.
Also, Dead or Alive has that too, though.
It does. You're right.
Dead or Alive has
totally
bored Japanese lady going counter round one.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking terrible.
I'm gonna give it up to Samurai Showdown, like 4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Those cuts are fucking. Yeah! The slashes are meaty and just the blood splatters, the sound of like a KO when you get like an execution, or just even like Hamuru doing like his Ogutsuza, his DP, and just the splash. It's such a visceral, hard-hitting, bloody cut effect. Like
yeah. I
also
say that Garo feels really good.
Garo has good ones. But back to Samsho again as well for Hanzo, who does his bone-breaking super, and you hear the sounds of the bone shattering as it does the little X-ray shots. Samsho, like 4 fucking gets it for me on the sound effect list, probably. KOF, like 98-ish, had some good ones too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The sound of like a super landing on you, like the big explosive hits are nice. But yeah, definitely. And yeah, definitely Killer Instinct is great audio wise, but like not on the hit sound as much as like
it's percussion,
the music and the rhythm. Yeah.
The crunch.
Exactly. There's something musical about KI that's amazing. But just when it comes to just like the oomph of the hit, like nothing beats getting hit with a heavy slash in Samsho. Let's take one from GGB, who says, sup, just wondering if Pat had any insight as to why FF14 was called the FGC retirement home. Keep up the good work.
I don't know. I've never heard that before.
So yeah, that's a slogan that I discovered, and it makes a lot of sense because it's basically where a bunch of players who fucking just give up, they just literally fuck off to FF14 and just do raids with others. And like whenever someone shows up at locals and they've been like lacking in their practice or they've gotten a lot worse, the excuse is always, Shadowbringers just came out.
No.
Yeah, I've been
it's a
doing
good game. I don't know if you know this, but it's got a free trial up to level 60. It includes
up to what level?
The expansion level 60.
Wow, hey.
It includes the expansion Heavensward for free.
Yeah. I mean, I literally, I'm trying to remember there was a gag with locals at a certain point where it was like, I think it was like Team MMO or something, or Team FF14 or something like that, where it's just like, oh yeah, he joined Team MMO, like it's just people who don't fucking play locals anymore who just fuck off to that instead. That's a thing.
That's what's gonna happen to you.
Undoubtedly.
It's what happened to me.
And let's take one last one here from Chemo Force. Says, Der Wooly versus and Pat Hart von Steraticus. I recently watched Legend of the Galactic Heroes with my friends. Or started watching. As per Sungwon Cho and Wooly's recommendations. All of my friends who are deep into anime have the show somewhere in their top 10. Similarly with Sungwon and Wooly describing the show as one of the best things they've watched. Only thing I watched was My Conquest of the Sea of Stars. I liked the premise of the show with its emphasis on two tacticians on opposite sides of a space war, as well as its anti-war sentiments and harsh critical tones towards political corruption and strife. Likely going to enjoy this show a lot. However, the movie felt a little off as it introduced a huge number of characters that didn't have the time to flesh them out. Hell, most of them didn't even have their names uttered at all, and I only got off knowing two protagonists, Wang Li and Reinhard. The writing was pretty good on every other level, but overall, yeah, the first impression off of this wasn't the best, and it goes on a little bit.
What's the question?
Have you ever had an example of like watching phenomenal media but experienced a weird premiere? Yeah, it's Wang Li, by the way.
Not that I can think of.
Where the debut was terrible, but the rest of it was great. Why would I like? If I bounced off the premiere hard, I probably wouldn't have stuck with it.
Yeah, I have nothing that fits this at all.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no. I can see Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the 3D Clone Wars, as a good example. Yeah, where starts as rough as you can possibly start, but then gets better later on as they figure out what the fuck they're doing. That's probably the best example you can get. Actually, Clone Wars. God, that movie was fucking. It literally like turned it. It made it so that movie was so bad that it made me like not believe everyone who says no, keep watching the show. There's good stuff. Like for years, I was like, I'll fucking fight you. How dare you? This is terrible. And it's like no, really like.
Some people are saying like 1.0 and 14, but like I didn't play 1.0. Right. And like other people would say like Star Trek Next Generation, but I didn't watch the first 2 seasons because I was like a 3-year-old, right? I only started watching it about halfway through its run.
I mean, the beginning of Reboot ain't fucking that hot, especially by today's standards. It was mainly just a technical marvel at the time.
Yeah, it was like, wow, 3D, wow.
Yeah, the things happening and the characters and all of the events were just like, what is what, you know?
All right, well, so I hate to be rude to cut it off, but I gotta go. My dog is screaming to go poopy.
All right, that works. I'll leave it there. Later, everybody.
Bye.